Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back with another Legacy League, and today we are playing Esper Tempt. Tempt because we have Samwise the Stout-Hearted. He can return cards from your graveyard to your hand that have gone to the graveyard that turn, getting revenge for his, you've hurt my master, you brute, and you'll pay for it. So he can get back one of many cards that are value cards in our deck. Our entire deck is based around value. This is basically a tighter, smaller version of the Esper Vial deck. So there's no Vial. Instead, you're just gradually deploying your threats. Your threats being Tamiyo, which can tick up and win games all by yourself, and also is a card draw engine. Psychic Frog, which is a card draw engine and can also end games by itself. Baleful Strix, which is an incredible defensive card that is essentially prepaying for removal and can attack in and do some damage if it needs to. Orcish Bowmasters, which is great at removing other Orcish Bowmasters and putting the squeeze on white control decks, blue-white control decks. And, of course, we've got Samwise rounding out the creature roster. So we've got a lot of creatures. We've got 19 creatures. We are playing a light tempo package in 2 days and 3 wastelands. And we are playing the best removal on the planet. Swords to Plowshares, we have 4 of those. And Prismatic Ending, which is also an amazing card that can get rid of like a flip Tamiyo for 1 mana. It can also get rid of Psychic Frogs. It can do a lot of stuff. It's just a very versatile card. And rounding out the deck, of course, we've got the Cantrip Suite. We got Force of Will. The big thing about this deck is the mana. If you look here, almost all the mana is colored pips. Right, we want to have maximum blue mana so we can brainstorm, so we can resolve Tamiyo. We want to have lots of islands so we can daze. And of course, Baleful Strix and Psychic Frog are very colored mana intensive. So as a concession of that, the previous league that I played with this deck, I tried to play a basic Plains and a basic Swamp. And I found that that was very constraining for me. And there were a lot of games that I lost just because I didn't have enough colored mana, especially enough blue mana. So what I've done here is I have more of a all-in mana base that is trying to have just good colors. So we've got 2 Underground Seas and 1 Undercity Sewer. It's important to have these surveil lands because often you do want to be able to surveil. You don't necessarily have a turn 1 play. The only 1 drop in the deck is Tamiyo, and you generally want to be casting your cantrips later in the game. So often you have a turn where you have an uncracked fetch and you can go surveil. So we're playing essentially 3 Underground Seas with this, essentially 3 Tundras with the Meticulous Archive, and then we're playing 1 island, and that's our fetchable mana base. So 7 fetchables, and then we're playing 9 fetches because I believe very strongly in having fetches. They don't get wastelanded. You can like leave them out there, and then you can do a turn 2 play. They also are lifesavers if you need to shuffle a ponder, or you need a card off of your ponder, but you don't want all 3 of the cards, or your brainstorms, of course. So I have really recently moved into having the 9th fetch here. And then we're playing 1 utility land in Caracas. We're playing 3 wastelands. Again, light tempo package. The plan is not to waste lock people with Samwise, but that is totally something you can do if you keep bouncing Samwise back to your hand and keep wasting them and then redeploying Samwise again to your waste back. That does come up, and I've had opponents do it to me. It's really miserable to be on the receiving end, but we're hoping to be on the giving end here. So let's go ahead and jump into the league. We're going to do a league of 5 matches as always. Just real quick on the sideboard, it's pretty typical cheap interaction, double force negation. We're playing now Spellbomb, which combos very well with Samwise the Stout-Hearted. It's something you can return. We're playing a single dress down, and we are playing 2 of these Serenities. These are really good against the KarnForge deck. They're good against Painter. They're good against decks that play a lot of Up the Beanstalks and Leyline Bindings. So I think this is a strong card right now. It's slow. You have to wait a turn after you cast it before you get the effect. But it basically has no negligible effect to or no negative effect to our deck other than potentially killing some of our Strixes, which are artifacts. And then we have Containment Priest as our other sideboard hate card, and we have Lavinia. Because we are so susceptible to Blood Moon here and we're literally just playing 1 island, I decided to go all the way up to 3 Hydroblasts. Now that Rescaminator is hopefully banned off the face of history, or like consigned to history, right? It's consigned to history after Grief is banned. I don't think Rescaminator is going to be good enough to play without Grief. Hopefully there's not as much need for Graveyard Hate, and Painter is going to be very well positioned. And I think Moonstompy will continue to be well positioned, especially if they do ban Psychic Frog. So I think we need to get used to putting a bunch of Hydroblast back in our deck. So yeah, I think this is a pretty conservative sideboard, and I think this deck with its mana base is extremely conservative in that we don't have a lot of basics. A greedy deck would have, a basic swamp and a basic island and just not be able to cast their spells. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see if we get Harbinger of the Seed or Magus of the Moon or Blood Moon or Wastelocked as a result of not playing very many basics. But it's a risk I'm willing to take because the payoff of being able to just always cast our spells is going to be worth it in my humble opinion. Let's see what happens. I'll see you in round 1. All right, round 1, we are up against Vendilion Misclick, who plays a wide variety of mostly control decks, including Beanstalk, and was most recently on Delver, basically. I think this was a few months ago. I'm not going to put too much stock in it. I'm just going to expect a long grinding match, and let's get to it. We won the die roll. Wish them luck. And yeah, I think we open Tamiyo here. We could open Ponder, just looking for a land, but that really tells them that we're light on lands. Yeah, I think Ponder's fine. I'm going to keep this and I'm going to Ponder. We don't have any interaction, but it wouldn't hurt to find interaction. I'm not sure how to handle this. I'm pretty sure, though, that we want to Ponder here. If we find a second island, then we can deploy Tamiyo and have Brainstorm up to protect her. Right? And let's see whether they have a turn 1 Wasteland to run our parade. Love to just reveal several fetches here. We did get a fetch. We got a Brainstorm, so I'm going to take the fetch. I don't need this duplicate Tamiyo. So I'll take the Force now, and then I'll draw the fetch. And if they waste us, we will most definitely just go for the island here because we don't know how long it's going to be before we draw a second land. Okay, they didn't waste us. Good. 60% of decks in Legacy play Wasteland, so you should always assume that that's a possibility, turn 1. Okay, and it looks like they're worried about getting wasted themselves. Maybe they think we're on like Stifle Knot or something, which is fine. We don't really have any tempo in our deck other than the fact that we have 2 dazes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fetch here, I'm going to deploy a Tamiyo, and I'm going to chill, and I'm going to hope that they're not playing Daze, and then I'm going to be able to flipper in response to like a Plow or something. But I do think deploying Tamiyo is the right call here. I have no reason to expect them playing. I have no reason to suspect them playing Stifle of their own, but I do think it's good to go ahead and do this. I'm going to do this now. This probably telegraphs that we have Plow, but that's fine. If they force here, I'll be so happy. A lot of blue decks aren't well equipped to deal with Tamiyo. They're probably worried that we're going to blow them out with a Daze if they force. But if they force, I'll just let this resolve for sure. Well, maybe if they force, I force back because that indicates that they're afraid. We'll see what they pitch if they force. Okay, she's in. I think we just pass. If we can get a clue off of her before we flip her, that's great. We don't even have to flip her if we don't want to. I'll probably just wait until they waste a removal spell or attempt to use a removal on her, and then I'll Brainstorm. We should get a lot more information about our opponent's deck now. Fetch is fine. Now they know that I don't have Stifle because I definitely would have stifled there. Tundra. They are plowing, so we are going to attempt to Brainstorm here. And we're going to hope that they don't have like Spell Pierce. I will force to protect this maybe if they think it's important enough to force. They could Daze, of course. I'll still get... actually, if they Daze here, that stops everything. So I'll be really scared if they blue tap Daze. But I will probably force anyway because I'm like... I've already invested this card. I want to be able to protect Tamiyo. The good news is we're not getting wasted next turn, so we will be able to potentially deploy a Bowmasters, which is almost certainly going to be good in this matchup. They are definitely a thinker, or they're multi-queuing. Brainstorm has resolved. This is pretty nuts. I mean, this is great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put back, I just want to keep my forces up just in case they do some sort of crazy combo thing here. I definitely want to draw the Bowmaster. I don't necessarily want the plow. I'm going to put that back. I'll put that back. I'm going to draw the Scalding Tarn. I want to be ready to fight, though. I think if they had a force or a daze, they would have used it there. So the question is, do they have a stifle, maybe? If they stifle, I will force. And what I'll probably do is I'll pitch a force to force. And then I'll be ready to force a second time if absolutely necessary. But what they've just told me is that they are scared of Tamiyo. And that they don't have counter magic. Because I can't think of a world where you plow, they brainstorm, and you don't force the plow. Okay, so this resolves. If they're playing a control deck, they're playing like way slower than me. Like I'm already up like 2 minutes on them, which is crazy because I'm like one of the slowest players I know. There has to be something going on. I can't imagine why this would still be on the stack. I think they're just multi-queuing. Okay, they're back. Okay. They seem to be passing into my turn. I'm going to draw this land here, and I'm going to wait and see whether I think I need the plow. They're really pausing at a lot of weird times. I really have no idea why they're pausing so much. Okay, so we're going to play this, plus this. I'm going to pass with double force up. I will definitely force a prismatic ending if they throw it her way. This is a very seasoned player. I'm like kind of weirded out that because I've seen they've got like a really clever name. It's like pretty unforgettable. I hope everything's okay over there. All right, let's pass. If they try to find removal for this, we do have the ability to Bowmaster. I think we go ahead and Bowmaster here just for added pressure. I don't think it hurts. They're probably playing like a Wrath of the Skies type deck. I already feel very vindicated putting 4 Tamiyos in my deck. She's just overperformed. Right before this, I played a league with 4 Tamiyos in a Stifle Knot shell, and it was just amazing. It was glorious. Okay, they conceded. Wow, that was strong. We still have no idea what they're playing other than they're playing Tune the Narrative. I think they're likely playing the blue-white annoying deck. And I say annoying because it's just like no fun to play against. I don't want to board in my Hydroblast because I don't know whether they're going to be relevant, but I do want to board in Negation. Lavinia stops Terminus early on. I do think we could probably board out some number of plows. We could do that. If they're playing that deck, then they don't have a lot of things that I can hit, unfortunately. Baleful Strix is pretty dead, but at least it cantrips. Yeah, I'm done playing these. Like I'm just excited about playing decks that aren't, land go. I like these creature interactive decks. I think that's good. So we're playing more to the stack. 2 plow, 2 prismatic anything is a hedge, but I don't expect a lot of creatures out of their deck. If they're playing the energy deck, they're probably playing Wrath of the Skies, which means they're going to be regularly clearing the board. They might have, maybe I should have taken 3 or 2 prismatic anything out and left 3 plows in. That's the only thinking I'm doing here. This seems like a pretty good hand. We've got Island Ponder, or we've got, whatever we want Ponder because they're unlikely to attack our mana. I like the extra negations. I like the ability to drop a Lavinia. Okay. So everything so far indicates they're just pure blue-white. I do think it's better to get a duel and a Ponder here than to do a Surveil land. So I think I'm going to get blue-white, and I'm going to go ahead and Ponder here. If I can line up another land, that'd be great, and I do. And I mean, it doesn't hurt to have a force in hand, so I will just get that force into my hand, and next turn I'll play the Misty, and we can have a Lavinia, and we can protect her. Protected Lavinia, probably stop like Wrath of the Skies. They won't be able to use. Yeah, they can still cast Wrath of the Skies. Yeah, this is fine. Lavinia won't stop Wrath of the Skies, but because it uses energy rather than the X. So that is a little interaction I never really thought about before. Lavinia is slightly weaker against Wrath of the Skies. Okay. I still think I tap out for Lavinia here. She does shut off counter magic from them. I mean, she's definitely baiting their first removal spell, and the fact that they put a plow out there tells me they probably have another removal spell from her. She's not my main plan. Psychic Frog is my main plan. So now my forces are unlikely to be contested, which is great because I've got a lot of them. So what I would do is I'd probably pitch everything but the Psychic Frog, and then I'll hope to stick a Psychic Frog here. It's going to be harder for them to remove Psychic Frog. Okay, so they probably have Red Blast in their deck. And this is why it's good to have a plow on my turn. Yeah, I like all that. I like the optionality of being able to ponder next turn. Hopefully I shut off a significant amount of their deck. Teferi is a force. Sadly, this Swords is really bad, but we can't so we just went way down on cards. But the reality is Teferi, like, it's just so powerful you have to stop it. All right. We are going to play land for turn, and I'm just going to attack. And I think we do play Psychic Frog, and if they Wrath here, we just accept it and we concede. They're not going to be able, unless they have a land plus Wrath, they're not going to be able to kill our Psychic Frog and our Lavinia. But just like leaving Lavinia out, I don't think is good enough. They already know that we have a plow based on like all of our past behavior. They could Snapcaster Plow, which would be bad. Yeah, they're going to be able to Wrath here. I think I'll just scoop if they Wrath. Yeah, is this a Supreme? Yeah, it's a Wrath. I think we played just to see more of their deck, but I mean, we knew that was a risk. We could have let the plow on Lavinia resolve, and then it had an extra force to protect our Psychic Frog. I'm going to play this, and then I can potentially fetch. The game is not over per se. They're really far ahead, but we do have like tons of value creatures in our deck. Like if we just start dropping Strixes and stuff like that, that'll be really strong. It's fine. So I'll go get a Meticulous Archive in step. They continue to amass great amounts of mana, which is scary. That was great. I'm glad to avoid drawing that. Let's draw a card that has value, like a value engine card. I'm going to brainstorm now. I'm going to brainstorm off white. Unfortunately, these cards are pretty terrible. I want to put that back. I don't see myself using that at all. I mean, I think we hold, and then next turn we brainstorm again and we try to get rid of all that chaff, those cards that aren't doing anything. I definitely could have. I needed to keep blue force in my hand just in case of an absolute emergency, but it has to be an absolute emergency. Is this Teferi? Lorien Revealed. We're learning about our opponent's deck. I'm not going to force the Lorien Revealed. I know it's like crazy not to, but like we are not going to get back into this game by pitching our hand and drawing dead cards for 2 turns in a row. I'm going to brainstorm here. I'm going to hope to find a fetch. We didn't find a fetch, but we did find good stuff. I'm going to put this back and this back, I guess. And now I can play this out. And yeah, I didn't tap my mana correctly. I didn't think about, I should have tapped the white. I tapped it last turn. For some reason, this turn I didn't. Just going to go ahead and play the Strix out. And then next turn, we can surprise them with the Bowmasters, I guess. Playing Bowmasters now is a higher impact play. I'm going to hope that we're wasting them off something important, like, what's it called? Fourth Aerolingus. I have 6 cards to my 2 cards. Okay, they found their other red source. But this might be their only other red source. Jace. Yeah, this is like the exact same. I can't stand this deck. I'm not looking forward to playing this if they after Rescam is banned. I bet you a lot of people will be playing this because it is really good. It's just like painfully slow and kind of boring to play against because they just kind of Aikido all your threats away. I like more kind of mid-rangey control decks. Okay, so here we're going to draw a dead card. I am going to attempt to attack Jace and see if I can bait out removal. They will probably just go up with Jace here. But if they Jace Storm again, I do have Orcish Bowmaster and it can at least remove Jace. If they bounce this back to hand, that's fine with me. They have a huge 4th Aerolingus if they want to go for it. They have super hard cast Force Up. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to do this. This shouldn't be a big surprise to them. They'll probably force it. I'm just going to F6 here. There's nothing I can do. And I'm just going to F6 through the rest of my turns, and I want to see what their win con is. And I will stop talking, and because this game is over. All right, we're back. They Jace ultimated me. Pretty anticlimactic. I think we're bringing in these Hydroblasts. I did not see a single creature in their deck. The only permanent that's worth exiling seems to be Prismatic Ending. I don't think that Prismatic Ending is even really good against. It's not even really good against like Snapcasters. They're playing Snapcaster. I almost feel like playing a Dress Down in place of Prismatic Ending because I just didn't see any indication that they're playing. They could be playing Ruination or something like that. It might be correct to bring in a Containment Priest instead because Containment Priest can at least attack and potentially attack their Planeswalkers. So I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, but overall, like, not super hyped about playing this matchup a whole lot over the next few months. Yeah, all right. So I'm going to play first, and let's take a look at this hand. This does have Waste Lock. It doesn't have Waste Lock, but it does have like the ability to waste them. I'm going to keep this for sure. I think the correct thing to do here is probably to open Flooded Strand, and I can go get Meticulous Archive here. And then if they don't do anything, what I'll do is I will I could wait and I could do Tundra, and then I can guarantee that I can get the land back with Samwise. I think it's better than Meticulous Archiving. They could definitely force the Samwise, but they're unlikely to daze it. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. It might make sense to do this end step, but they might have like a Force of Will. They have Stern Scolding. Yeah, I think I just wait till end step. Or I could do it during their upkeep to deny them a mana. Yeah, I'll do that. What I'm going to do... Yeah, I'll just get a Tundra here. And... do I want to wait? I'm trying to think of what they could have. I can't think of a good reason to wait. I'm just going to do it now. Hopefully I get this land back. If they force it or something, that's too bad. But if they don't force, I'm going to get this back, and then I'll be ramping up toward Bowmasters. This is good. And every time this resolves, we ring up a little bit. They've got 10 minutes on their clock, and they probably need at least 3 minutes to win after they've established full control because their deck is so slow. They can still win off of 4th Aerolingus. The fact that I presented this Wasteland means they can't like safely go get non-basics. So they're going to have to play slower with non-basics, which is fine. I mean, I'd rather them do that and actually get a few cracks in here. Oh, that's a great draw. I'm going to go ahead and attack, and I think I probably hold the Orcish Bowmasters now that I have Force, because if they Brainstorm, I can... Yeah, they're going to maybe go get a Plow here, which is fine. I've already gotten value out of this. That's fine. They're just preserving their life total, which I understand, and I don't mind. I'm just going to pass. Okay, they are fetching here. Are they going to get a non-basic? No. Okay. This tells me they probably have like Blood Moon or... Okay, they're going to Island Cycle. They're going to play completely on basics, which is fine. So I will end step Bowmasters here. Actually, you know what? I think it's right to go ahead and Bowmasters now. My reasoning is if they do have cantrips in their hand, they can't cast them currently. I will totally be blown out by a Blood Moon. But wait, there's no need to make myself vulnerable to that. I'm going to do it this way. I have Force for Blood Moon. I have Hydroblast in case I do manage to draw my blue source. It is definitely possible that they Blood Moon here. Okay. So I think we may have stopped them from being able to cantrip here. We'll see when we go to combat. Yeah, I think I'm going to start with an attack. If they attempt to... okay, so they're just going to combat here. That's fine. I do want to get some... I would like to get a basic. I think I'm going to go ahead and ponder here. Just see if I can find a fetch. Because I'm just nervous that they have so many basics and I don't have basics. Because if they do have Blood Moon in their deck, I have it covered as long as I have the island. They're blasting that. Interesting. So I think it may make sense to just let that go. Yeah, because I have Force and I have Pyroblast if they attempt a Blood Moon here. And then end step, after they can no longer cast sorcery speed things like Blood Moon, I can flash in the Containment Priest and just do a little more damage. This is fine. This triggers Bowmaster. This is their only blue source. So by forcing them to play on basics, like we've really cramped their ability to do like multi-spell. Also, they're like a white away from Wrath of the Sky. And I'm not even sure if they play a second Plains. I imagine they do, but it's got to be inconvenient to grab it. They can't grab it with that. They're going to have to... Okay, interesting. Warning. The MTGO just fired at me. That was weird. They were... Okay. Galvanic Discharge. I mean, I think we blast here. I want to keep this alive. This gives them energy, and it's, removing this creature, which is a path to victory for me, potentially. Okay. And I will force here. I'm going to force pitching Baleful Strix, if necessary. I think they're going to Pyroblast. I need to keep this on the table. I can waste this out, and then I just need to brainstorm into another fetch, probably. All right, let's see what I draw. If I draw a fetch, I'll feel a lot better. Force Negation is good. Force Negation stops a lot of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and just attack in, and I'm going to hold Force Negation, and then I can brainstorm next turn. But I think that it's highly likely... Well, I think I want to waste them off this blue source. Yeah, because I'm going to do it... If we pass into their turn, then they can't plow. What I don't want is for them to be able to... I want to hold the mana until their upkeep. I think I've come to the conclusion that even if they do Blood Moon me here, I might be able to win with just these. They may be able to use this mana for like a Lauren Revealed Cycle or something. Okay, they're not using it for anything. So the only card I really fear here is like Wrath abilities, Wrath effects. Because I can flash in Containment Priest, which is not there to do anything except accelerate my clock. And just further bring the beats. Okay. So we're going to be attacking for 5 here. So we're really 2 swings away from winning. They flash in. Okay, nothing. Good. I should have played that land out before attacking. That was kind of why I was anxious. I was like, oh no, I screwed up. They have Snapcaster, I'm screwed. But now I have Hardcast, Force Negation up. They have to do something this turn. They have 5 cards in hand. They could have like a blast. They could have... Yeah, they're thinking about brainstorming, but then they're like, do I want to brainstorm into Orcish Masters? Dress down. I'm trying to think of what could come out of this other than just like a desperate... I think we let this resolve because I'm trying to think of what they would do here. Yeah, okay, it resolves. You get a card. But now they kind of know that I have some force in my hand because why would I even think about that? Okay. They conceded. We won. All right. That was a lot of fun. And, the value overpowered the sheer kind of like raw control that they're playing in all these 1-for-1 answers. Plus, I really do think that like permanents that draw you cards are so much better than like Lorien Revealed. Lorien Revealed, nothing wrong with that. I played this type of deck that my opponent is playing. It's very good. It's great to resolve like a Ruination after your opponent's played a bunch of non-basics and you've been disciplinedly playing basics the entire time. It's great to be able to win with Planeswalkers. Like winning with Jace just feels like the most comfortable thing in the world. Once you've like got everything locked down and you're just checking the top of their deck and stuff like that. But like, I like being able to apply pressure and, have an actual reasonable matchup against like Eldrazi and stuff like that. I don't know that these types of decks are ever going to be able to beat Eldrazi. I'm not sure what they could have in their toolbox to beat Eldrazi. All right, so we'll go to round 2. I'm going to go eat some pizza with my kids, and I'll be back maybe tomorrow to finish out this league. But so far, we're off to a good start, and we're having fun. All right, we are back for round 2. And again, we are having a grand old time playing this deck, which is... Here, I'll show the deck again. Oh, we're up against Bob Buttons. This will be fun. The value deck versus the ultra big control deck. Okay, so we're playing Samwise, Orcish Bowmasters, Baleful Strix, Psychic Frog, and Tamiyo with some control elements. A lot of removal, a lot of interaction, and a very, a 3-color mana base that has a lot of duels in it. We'll see what we can do. So I'm going to assume Bob Buttons, I'm not going to look him up, but I'm going to assume he's on the same kind of aggressive. This is a keep. My reasoning here that it's a keep, we do have a force if they have an early... If they have an early Beanstalk. I'm going to open Wasteland. I'm not going to use the Wasteland. Okay, now I'm going to open... I think I'm going to open Island because they may play a Stifle. I actually don't know whether they play Stifle, but what I want to do is get Samwise going. Yeah, I'm going to open this way and I'll just pass. We don't have any turn 1 plays, but I don't expect like a... I guess I could have kept a white mana open for plowing Frog, but I actually don't really want to have to plow Frog because what I really need to do is get a second dual land with my Scalding Tarn by recurring Samwise. Okay, they didn't cast anything. That's great. I think it's highly likely that they have a daze here because they play 4 dazes. So what I think instead I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold. Which may seem incredibly passive, but this gives me the ability to, I can go fetch a Tundra and I can plow a Frog if they play Frog. I have Daze Protection if I need to force a Beanstalk. All right, they are playing Frog, and I think we just let this resolve and then we go get a Tundra and we plow it end step. That means we're not going to have a second White Source, but what we'll be able to do is waste, Samwise for waste. Actually, what I'll do with Samwise is I'm not going to get the waste back. I'll play the waste out and... Okay, see if we can remove it without a fight. If they fight over this, it means they probably don't have any other engine in their deck. They are thinking... Okay, they're forcing here. I think I'm going to force back just because I don't have the ability to play... So I might be able to play out of Strix, but I might not. Yeah, so I'm just going to force here. And what I'll do is, so this is getting exiled. That's great. I want to be able to... Oh, no. I'm not going to be able to get back my fetch here. I think it's probably worth wasting them off green. And then I'll pass through combat. Okay, they didn't float. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and do this now. And I'm going to attempt to get my Wasteland back. They may force this or daze it. They didn't. So this is very good for us because we've got lots of Wastelands now. And their mana base, I think they play that 1 island and that's it. So we may be able to just bully them with Wastelands here. They may have a basic Swamp in their deck. If they have another Frog, that's not the end of the world because we are going to be able to go get Strix. Actually, we can just exile Frog with Prismatic Ending. I forgot we have a Prismatic Ending in our hand. So I'll play out the Wasteland here. And I'm just going to go ahead and attempt to exile this Frog. Okay. And then I'm going to go to combat. And then I'm just going to waste now before they can do anything about it. They didn't play out a land last turn, so this may be the last of their lands. I think they play Tamiyo. They may not play for Tamiyo. I think they do, though. But that's what I'm thinking as being like their best shot at crawling back into this. They find a fetch here. They may still have some play. We do have another wasteland. We don't have a fast clock by any means. We need to find our black source. This is why I'm not playing a lot of basics. I'm playing a single basic because of precisely situations like this where you really need all three colors. Okay, they did find a fetch. They do play Fatal Push. So that's definitely something they could do here. I would love for them to Fatal Push this. I want to see if I can find... They haven't demonstrated days yet. And okay, Meticulous Archive is good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put back... are there any of these cards that we don't want? Meticulous Archive actually isn't that great because we want to get closer to... Bowmasters is really strong here. Strix is not as strong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back. I'm going to put... Strix does pitch to force. I think I'm actually going to archive away the Bowmasters, as crazy as that might sound, just because I do want to get to... I want to have the Wasteland for their next play, but I don't want to pitch my Brainstorm because that can dig me deeper and help me fix my hand later. Okay, so if we had... I mean, they wouldn't have gone for the ETB tap land here if they had an alternative. They could have another land. Okay, they found a Wasteland of their own. Beanstalk is going to get forced here. I feel very strongly about that play. So now we'll get a Wasteland and we can hit their Hedge Maze. That is fine with me. Luckily I had redundant blue-white sources. If that were like a basic Plains, that would be really bad. I'm just going to go ahead and hit this now. And I'm going to attack. I'm going to hold the Brainstorm. There's nothing... I'm trying to think of like an emergency type situation where Brainstorm would be useful by itself. I think we just need to draw more cards so Brainstorm can be good again. But I feel like we should be running them low on lands. Okay, they're cycling. So far we've killed one green source, two green sources, and one black source. They're getting an Underground Sea, which tells me they probably have Psychic Frog. So we do need to be cognizant of that. Ponder is good. If we can ponder and find Wasteland number 3, that'd be great. I'm going to go ahead and attack first, though. All right, we found Tamiyo. There is a chance that Tamiyo gets dazed. Tamiyo getting dazed doesn't delay the arrival of Psychic Frog. I think what we need to do is... I want this plow pretty badly. I don't need the other Samwise. If the other Samwise resolves, I do have the ability to loot each time I attack. I have Tamiyo Brainstorm next turn, but there's a high likelihood, again, that they haven't used a single daze and they play 4 days in their deck. I think it's highly likely that they have a daze in their hand. And I think we just need to shuffle. Okay, that's good. That's good. Next turn, that represents a shuffle. Next turn, we can Brainstorm, we can shuffle, and we can try to... Okay, wow, they got another land. They're finding their lands. All right. That's good. I think what we do is we go ahead and attack here. And I don't think they play any creatures that can ambush us. And then we just hold. I don't want to... We can go get another Surveil trigger. We can go get the Undercity Sewer. I want to make sure we have lots of game against various things they could do. They could go for like a big Murktide here, but we have the plow for that. That will give them a lot of life, and our deck is not good at like actually killing our opponents. Wow, they're just rebuilding their mana base so effectively. I don't believe they're playing main deck Bowmasters. I could very much be blown out, but I do have a plow in case they are. All right, this is definitely going back. This is going back. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and fetch here and hope they don't stifle. Right, we're going to get Undercity Sewers. That is definitely going in the graveyard. A Psychic Frog. I think we attack first. Okay, we got some motion. I'm not sure what they're doing with getting that land. Abrupt Decay. We can't stop that. We could play Psychic Frog now. That has higher upside. Yeah, I'm going to play it. And they're going to need 2 removal spells to stop it. And I have Plow for their removal spell. But they could just untap and Beanstalk into like Murktide or something. And that could be scary. Okay, they're fetching. They're going to Surveil. They're probably going to get their blue-black Surveil land. Oh, they're getting Mystic Sanctuary to get back Abrupt Decay. Yeah, that works too. I mean, at least we know that that's their turn cycle here. We see it coming. We can't do anything about it. So next turn, what I'll do is, assuming that I don't draw a completely dead card, I can do something better. But at the very worst, I can deploy a Tamiyo. I think deploying Strix is totally fine here because we might find a land. If we find a land, we can deploy Tamiyo too. This is a down payment on us removing... Yeah, I'm going to play Tamiyo out. I don't think... They don't have any sweepers in their deck. They could easily just waste this white land, and then we wouldn't have Plow up anymore. Their own Tamiyo. If they flip her, that's really bad. I'm going to wait until they attempt to flip her, and then I can Plow. I am going to start by wasting them off green. No, I'm going to go to attacks first. Okay, I'll create my token thing here. My clue. All right. That's fine. That doesn't do anything. I think I just want to go for the green because the card I'm most scared of is Beanstalk. I could have waited till their upkeep to do this. All right. I'm just going to pass. Their last card could be Brainstorm, but doing this now, we deny them a clue. Okay, they have a force for that. That's a very good exchange. I'm going to go ahead and draw here. Just want to see what I get. Brainstorm. Okay, there was no real benefit to doing that. We don't have a Fatal Push, and we didn't have any white mana, so they are going to get the clue here. But they are hell-bent other than this clue, and we're going to be able to get clues ourselves, and their life is getting low. Okay, they're drawing a card. Okay, and it wasn't a land. All right, so it could be a Fatal Push. So I'm going to go to combat, and I'm going to be ready to Brainstorm in response to a Fatal Push. If they don't Fatal Push now, okay, we got the token, so I don't think they have Fatal Push in their hand. I think it is okay to Brainstorm first. All right, I definitely feel like we've won here. I'm going to put this back. I'm going to put this back. I will plus here. Bowmaster can come in and surprise them, but we want to wait until they potentially crack a clue. Holding back the Baleful Strix would have prevented them from attacking there, but I don't think that's the play. All right, they've got a clue. We used a ton of clock on this game, that's for sure. That's fine. Let's see what they do here. Interesting they didn't get a green source. Do we waste all 3 of their green sources? If they crack that clue, they're dead. Murktide's fine. We have Strix. And I think they're dead either way, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this. They have 0 cards in hand. They won't be able... They can crack the clue, but I think we can attack for lethal anyway. Yeah, they just concede to that. Because they wouldn't be able to block all 3, and they're going to take 1. All right, wow, we got a game against Bob Buttons, the legendary Beanstalk player. I'm hyped about that. Lavinia doesn't actually stop anything in their deck, really. It stops Force. Serenity is good because they're going to have Green Sun Zeniths. Even if this can, like, 1-for-1, a Beanstalk is kind of good. Now Spellbomb is not atrocious. Dress Down isn't really good. They don't have ETB triggers on their creatures, I don't think. Cards that I think are less... They may not expect a Daze because we didn't have Daze last game, but Daze is going to be pretty bad here. Like, we're not a tempo deck, and we're on the draw. None of these creatures are embarrassing. We're going to keep all our removal, and we're definitely going to keep our endings in. I mean, we're kind of pre-boarded for this matchup. I'm not even sure if I want to bring in Serenity. I think maybe bringing in 1 and then taking out 1 Daze could work. And then we still have the 1 surprise Daze, especially good if it comes up during this round. They're playing... Let's take a look at their deck. So just to give you an idea of, I mean, they've been playing this deck for so long. 4 Tamiyo, 4 Psychic Frog, 4 Mercs, 2 Fatal Push, okay, 2 Abrupt Decay, 2 Murderous Cut. By the way, I played their deck on the channel and I was not impressed with it. Torpor Orb is really good against us. I think with Torpor Orb, Carpet of Flowers, Pernicious Deed, I do think that there's enough reason to bring a second Serenity in over the days. It's just going to do a lot more. And then I'm not going to tempo them. I'm not going to fire my Wastelands at them at all, probably. Because I'm going to need as much mana as I can to overwhelm their dazes, which they're definitely keeping in on the play. All right, so let's go ahead and see how we can do game 2 against Bob Buttons. All right, this is a totally keepable hand. We have Force for their Beanstalk. We have the ability to go fetch. Carpets are going to be super strong against us because every land in our deck other than Wasteland and Caracas is an island subtype. So, all right, that's fine. They don't play Stifle at all in their 75, so I don't need to worry about that. What I'm probably going to do is just play super slow. I might send up a Samwise to the Days Gods. All right, that's what we want to see. I think we're going to start super slow here. It doesn't matter which land we play. That's one thing I don't have to think about, like fetch sequencing, because every fetch grabs every land. Brainstorm. I'm going to presume that they have a shuffle effect to go with this. We're looking at 9 cards right now. How many Beanstalks are they seeing? I think Beanstalk is the critical card. We force the Beanstalk, and we slow their deck down quite a bit. Tamiyo is not the fight. We can deploy a Strix. I might even proactively deploy a Strix just into Days, just because it's so good against Tamiyo. Do I want to do that? I mean, it basically forces them to Days. We've got so many lands. I feel like throwing even a single card under Days is probably a mistake. I'm just going to play that out, and I'll pass. Then what I'll plan to do is I can end step double fetch if necessary to get some selection. I can get both of the slow ETB tapped lands, because I just want to be 100% sure their Dazes are dead this game, because they're playing 4 of them and they're definitely in. Even if they flip her, I'm not that worried about her, because I've got 3 Prismatic Endings in my deck. All right, that's a Force. I'm going to pitch a Psychic Frog, because Baleful Strix is a guaranteed draw. Psychic Frog is just a possible draw. Okay, that worked. All right, so let's go get our first Surveil land. I'll get the blue-white one. Actually, I'll get the blue-black one, because I definitely want that. This is staying right where it is. Thank you. Okay, and then I guess we don't fetch. We just wait. All right, so now I do think the play is Strix here. And I've got another fetch to go with my Samwise if I need it. The reason I'm playing out Strix first is because it stops them from being able to attack with Tamiyo. Hopefully they're not playing like Stern Scolding or anything like that. Okay, good. All right, we get a draw, and we can pass. That is a very good draw, and I will pitch Psychic Frog should a second... that's fine. It's a 2-for-1. Should a second Beanstalk go on the stack, I will 100%, with prejudice, I know I say that a lot, because with extreme prejudice, I will force I think that's like some like 80s cop movie term or something. I want to make sure that that's not actually like something that I could get canceled for. Yeah, that's fine. So they are 1 card away from flipping her. Again, I do not mind in the slightest if they flip her. I feel very confident I can deal with her with the tools in my deck. They're thinking about whether to flip her here. That might mean they don't have a Daze, because they should flip her, in my opinion. Yeah, that's fine. All right, and they're going to start the plussing. Fetch my Meticulous Archive. That is definitely something I'm interested in. And we could even potentially double spell here. So I think what I'm going to do is I might be able to bait out a Daze by playing the Samwise. The other alternative, of course, is they're probably going to want to crack that clue next turn, and I might be able to Bowmaster it. So I did play out my land, but I don't have a land for next turn. if I play out the Samwise, then I don't have Daze protection. I think the upside of Bowmasters is so high here that I should reserve the right to Bowmasters. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to reserve the right to Bowmasters. End step, I can Samwise if they don't play anything Bowmaster worthy. That's fine. I have a Strix. Tamiyo is also fine. Yep, that's fine. Okay, so I think here, by playing out the Bowmasters, we lock out their ability to safely draw with Psychic Frog, but they're not going to be drawing with Psychic Frog anyway unless they have a way to remove our Strix. I think what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to go ahead and fetch first, get a Tundra, then I'm just going to go ahead and Samwise. All their removal is just destroy. So Samwise could potentially get back a Bowmasters if I put him in the yard. I don't know why they're thinking about this. If they force this, I'll be so happy. I just want to get my land back so I can double spell around Daze. Double spells being Baleful Strix with an Orcish Bowmasters backup. Okay. Samwise has resolved. I've got my land back. Not going to do anything into Daze. I mean, they could have like 2 Dazes in their hand for now, by now, for all I know. Okay, so I think first step, let's go ahead and play this out. We could cut them off a color if we do find a wasteland here. If they had 3 Dazes, I should have played out my Scalding Tarn. They're forcing my Baleful Strix. So my thinking here is we need to keep force so that we can so that we can stop Tamiyo ultimate. If they Tamiyo ultimate and they have a, let's see, are they playing Veil of Summer? They're not playing Veil of Summer. At least have they ever played Veil of Summer? Veil of Summer is not a very good card in my opinion, and I think Bob Buttons realizes that. Yeah, I think what we need to do is just wait until they try to Tamiyo ultimate here. That probably telegraphs that we ourselves have a force here. They could just chill. They don't have to go for it. We do have the bigger of frogs. Will I go to Hellbent to protect my frog? They don't know whether I will or not. They're not going to be ultimating this turn. They're going to be ultimating next turn. If they buff their frog, then my Ringbearer can attack through Tamiyo. Actually, no, because they can just block with Tamiyo there. Yeah, I'm just going to chill. I don't have another Surveil land in my deck, but I can keep this well, this is going to get paired with this. Carpet gives them tons of mana. That's fine at this point. That's not the fight. They have Uro, which they don't play Uro. Okay, they're returning a Fatal Push. Yeah, that's a good play. And they're going to attempt to push my frog now. So this is essentially a 2-for-0 here. I think I need to stop it. Yeah, I'm going to stop it. My instinct is that it would be a mistake to let that resolve. Just because Psychic Frog plus Orcish Bowmasters. We got to shoot Tamiyo down now that I know that they're not going for the ultimate. And you might be thinking, why aren't they going for the ultimate? Well, they're smart. They know that I'm playing Bowmasters, and they know that they probably don't have protection against it. If they force a Hellbent here, I'll be fine letting it go. Well, do you have double Daze? They could Daze again here. I'll just get the... I think the white is more important. And I will attempt to pay for this. They're going to have a second Daze. I can't think of why else they would do that unless they had a second Daze. So, yeah, what I expected. Okay, and my frog is dead, and now they can attack in. They still have 2 cards to pitch. They're in a good position. If they attack with Tamiyo to create a clue, I can attack this Tamiyo for 2 power. Psychic Frog has flying, which is important that they exile cards because that's fewer cards that they can use Murktide with. They are going to get a card here. They're going to get, yeah, both cards, but they might have something to play out. They can play out a land and they could potentially play out another frog. Okay, I'll take it. I'm interested. It's interesting that they did that. I guess they're going to try to aggro me. So also, sorry if you can hear my kids making loud noises in the background. It's my daughter's birthday. We're going to have a birthday party in a little bit. So she's got her cousin coming into town. Yep, they're drawing a card here. They're flipping that Tamiyo into a new Tamiyo. Interesting. Okay, sacrificing the old Tamiyo. That's not a value play, but I'm sure they have their reasons. Okay, they're drawing another card. Definitely getting ahead of the Bowmasters that's in my hand. So Samwise will attack here. If I draw a second Samwise, I could sack like legend roll, and then I would be able to get a loot trigger off the Samwise. That's not like a really powerful play. Yeah, that sucks. I think I probably lost just, I mean, look at the power they have on the table. And they're going to be able to, even if I plow this, their Psychic Frog's going to be pretty strong here. I drew a dead card. I don't have any card draw. I'm just going to concede to save time. Let's see what I would have drawn. Yeah, because I was dead on board. And then, yeah, Tamiyo was 2 turns later. Yeah, I had lots of, not consequential cards coming. Okay. I think we board Days back in. Days would have been live. Do we board Days in? I'm not sure that we do. Days is more of like an anti-combo card. If they have Carpet, that's going to be bad. I still like... Serenity would have cleared... I mean, Serenity is kind of playing from behind, isn't it? Maybe we take 1 out and we poured 1 Days in. Yeah, I think that's better. Just to have a little bit of Days action. All right, this is fun though. I mean, they're the bigger control deck. We're like the value deck, but so I think our deck is much more favored against Jeskai than it is against this. And yeah, Jeskai might be favored over Bob Button style Beanstalk or even Pokemoki style Beanstalk, just because it has so much removal and they only have so many threats. They've got like 12 threats in their deck. Jeskai basically has 12 answers in their deck, so it becomes a matter of beanstalking and drawing enough cards quickly enough to be able to overwhelm your opponent's, overload your opponent's removal. And they may be able to do that, maybe not. But I know that this deck can beat Jeskai pretty handily just because we've just got so many threats, right? Really like 21 threats in our deck, or 20-ish. So we've got, let's see, 12, 15 threads. All right, we've got 9 minutes on the clock, which will hopefully be enough. This is a good hand. I'm going to keep it. I like the presence of land. If I can get them wasting early, that's fine. I think we open... I think I'm just going to open fetch because I can surveil, and then I can ponder and see what their opening is like. Looks like they're going to open Island Ponder probably. Island Carpet. I think I'm going to daze that. So I'm going to go get a second Tundra. And I'm going to float a blue. And I'm going to attempt to daze this. I'll return this back to hand. Okay. So that was worth stopping. Do we want to use our mana efficiently and brainstorm here? We would be doing so into daze. No. That's not how I roll. I want every brainstorm to count. We stopped the initial kind of volley. I think Tamiyo's fine. They have so many answers to this, but we can draw out that answer. A daze is fine too. It sets them back a turn. Okay. I think most likely they're going to have an Abrupt Decay or a Fatal Push. They won't have a Murderous Cut at this point. I think there's a decent chance that she survives long enough to attack. Another Carpet. Okay. That's bad news, by the way. We do have lots of ways of removing it, but they get Abrupt Decay now. They can also Beanstalk, which I can't stop. Yep, that's a terrible sequence of events here. And now their Force of Will's cantrip. I don't have a lot of hope for this game, but I'm going to try my best. Well, that is a good draw. Okay, so sadly, as much as I want to hit the Carpet, we need to hit the Beanstalk. Actually, I can hit the Carpet and I can reserve the right to flip Tamiyo. But I've only got so many endings in my deck. Yeah, I'm going to hit the Carpet. All right, and now if they attempt to kill Tamiyo, we can brainstorm. But make no mistake, Beanstalk is the scarier of the two permanents. But we're doing this around days. I think it's quite likely they're considering forcing here. Okay, wow, we got it. Okay. They have so many must answer cards in their deck. I don't think they play a third carpet, so I think carpet's gone for the rest of the game. Yeah, just 2 carpets. That's what I do. Torpor Orb is a very strong card against our deck. We're going to have to remove it later. Their own Tamiyo. Yep. So the good news about they're tapped out. I think I'm going to attack one more time, and then I'm going to flip Tamiyo. We have restricted their mana a little bit. I think hitting them off black is actually pretty powerful here, because most of their deck is black or blue. That doesn't do anything. I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm here. We're not going to get the perfect brainstorm, unfortunately. I'd love for them to force this to try to stop Tamiyo, and then I can just play Wasteland and I can brainstorm again. If they force this, it tells me they probably don't have a threat. Okay, great. Yeah, this is very good for us. So we can't punish the Beanstalk itself, the draw trigger. Play this out. Now I'm going to brainstorm again with Daze Protection. Tamiyo is going to flip. I'm going to put back Redundant Tamiyo, which I definitely don't want to draw, and I'll put this back. Okay, so Tamiyo is going to plus. We're going to waste their black source, which not only slows them down, but it also makes it so they can't crack these clues as quickly. 6 minutes on the clock. They don't play Orcish Bowmaster, so we will be able to successful. Like if we minus here, they don't have Stifle. It's like deterministic, basically, that we're going to draw half our deck and we're not going to get killed. They don't have a black source. They have a Hedge Maze, which, as we see, is like really only cast Beanstalk and a couple of their sideboard cards. They put a second Torpor Orb in their yard. Okay. So I'm definitely going to fetch away this Redundant Tamiyo. I think I just fetch, and then I'll ponder. I will get a second. What happened to my Tundra? I had a second. Oh, I have it in the hand. Never mind. Yeah, I'm going to get untapped land just in case I do need to Bowmaster here. We're going to take a look at our top cards. Strix is amazing here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play it out. And if they daze, they daze. Wait. Yeah, I don't have a... Yeah, we're subjecting ourselves to daze here, but I think it's worth it to, slow down Tamiyo. Oh, we don't get the freaking draw trigger. That sucks. I didn't think about that. I would love for them to daze here. They're cracking a clue. All right, it's in. It can protect us. It can protect Tamiyo, but that's really all we've got going is protection around Tamiyo. They do have up the Beanstalk up. They were able to draw off their clue. They're not going to be able to get any more clues without losing Tamiyo, so they will have to figure out a way to flip her. Okay, so I'm going to block here. They're going to probably flip her, I imagine. That's fine. All right, do they have a Brainstorm? I can't punish a Brainstorm. Okay, she's dead. I think that Wasteland off black was absolutely crucial. If they play another black mana, I'll be scared. But they can't cast Abrupt Decay without black, and that's like their answer to this. Getting forced back. That's not a bad play by any means, but it's not the scariest. Another Beanstalk. A Murktide. Okay. They're going to need to remove my Baleful Strix if they want to attack Tamiyo. All right. They have a Force in hand, I believe. I'm going to play this out, and I'm just going to be ready to crack clues. Yeah, this is just a 3/3. So it won't completely kill Tamiyo. I am scared that they're going to be able to remove this and knock a lot of loyalty off her, though. Another Beanstalk. I think this is worth contesting because this is like one of the ways they catch up. I'm going to desperately try to draw for a Force here. I know they have a Force. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so next turn we can remove this. When we draw half our deck, though, I think we're going to have them covered because we're going to have so much removal. They still haven't found a black source. Okay, they have their own Tamiyo. Okay, so we're going to get to draw here. Unless they're playing like Stifle or something that I don't know about. I'm just going to go ahead and do it now. Yeah, I'm going to play this out, and I'm going to fetch first, because I do want to be able to ensure that I have a land to fetch. Let's get the island so I can hardcast force. I know they have a force, but at least I can trade. And what they're basically hoping to do is stop me before I can kill them with my various creatures. So I'm just going to play a Psychic Frog here. And I think I play out a second Psychic Frog. So this is a draw trigger. Let's see, how many forces do I have in hand? So if I force here, I think that's fine. I'll just pitch another Tamiyo before they get the cards. Okay, so now they're going to get a couple cards. They can force again, potentially. Okay, Psychic Frog's in. I'm just going to go ahead and remove this from the board. It's kind of scary. And I think I will also just attempt to play another Psychic Frog. I'll attempt to play this. I'm just like throwing stuff out because I'm kind of low on time. I'm going to keep this up to block their Tamiyo so they can't productively attack me. It's just me versus the clock now. I think if I just stick enough Bowmasters, they'll die. Because they won't be able to draw things off of Beanstalk. They're not going to be able to cast Murktides. They may have Abrupt Decay now. Okay, they get a thing. I'm going to go to block. I'll be so embarrassed if I die due to time here. They're going to be able to flip her, but they're going to do so at high cost of Bowmaster pings. Unless they want to remove my Bowmaster somehow before they flip her. I mean, I'm sending in so many Bowmasters next turn. That's fine. I need to like look at my hand and see how many forces I have. I think I only have one force left. That is okay. We're going to get some Bowmaster pings. I will hit. It's active player. It's only 2 pings, so there's no point in it in going after Tamiyo here. Just going to grow my army here. The reason they're going after Psychic Frog is Psychic Frog can one-shot them because of all the cards I have in my hand. But like just by deploying Orcish Bowmasters, essentially, unless they have like Pernicious Deed or something like that, which I will force. Okay. So next turn, I am planning to just play Orcish Bowmasters and actually, yeah, I'm going to just play Serenity as well. Might as well. Blue, black, Bowmaster, and I'll go blue, black. I'll play up my land first. Black, blue, Psychic Frog. Where is it? Where are you, Psychic Frog? There you are. I drew another one. Then I think I'll just go ahead and try to do the Serenity. They might force it. That's fine. Boom. This is before attack. So our army is going to get a little bit larger. I'll probably protect the army at this point just to make sure that we can connect for a lot of damage. It doesn't make sense to attack with anything but the army. I'm going to attack Tamiyo just to reduce their options a little bit so they can't regrow a Murderous Cut or something. Again, that may be passive, but like if I get a clear shot with Orcish Bowmasters, the game's over. I can't F6 through their turn just because I do have force and they could cast something of importance. I definitely could have ended Tamiyo. Man, my heart is racing. I'm like, man, how did I screw this up? How did I get into a situation where I've got 1 minute and 50 seconds left and the wind's so very much on board? While we're waiting for this to resolve, I do have another Orcish Bowmaster, which I'll definitely play out if they destroy my Serenity somehow. The cards I'm most worried about are like Abrupt Decay, just like slowing me down. And that's why if I attack with Psychic Frog, I probably won't put everything into it. I know I can do like Always Yield here, but it's just, it takes time, and I'm not sure how many more times they're going to do it. They've got 6 cards in hand. I'm going to lose my Baleful Strix, but they're going to lose a lot of stuff here. They can take their time and like make me sweat, basically. Not a fun position to be in. Okay. So once this resolves, I'm going to put these on the stack. And they're like super duper dead. They need a lot of removal here. They only have one black source. So they can't remove two things to my knowledge. All right. They have a second black source. So I think I'm going to plow frog. I'm going to end Tamiyo. White. They're just trying to like time me out in like the cheapest way, which I respect. I've done this to people before. Discarding cards. They're even trying to do it at like random intervals and stuff. Why does it keep passing priority back to me? It's so irritating. That's fine. Okay, that's gone. They're empty. I'll just attack over 2 turns. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove Tamiyo so she can't debuff my creatures. If I can find it, yes. Oh, this is during my upkeep. Never mind. Okay. I'll just attack with my frog. Now I just have to discard a bunch of cards. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it in time. All right. I'm trying my best to discard. 16 seconds. I need to discard 3 more cards and then I just have 6. All right, F6ing. Oh, no. I didn't do enough. I needed to do 1 more. Okay, he conceded. Oh, wait, I did do it. Okay. It was -9. It was 9 because of the -1. I did pass it. I did discard enough cards. Wow. That was an extremely intense battle. Down to 7 seconds on the clock. My heart is racing. You saw how carefully I played that. But even after Tamiyo ultimating, I still needed to end the game, and I barely was able to do that. I was thinking, I'll just pass. But I discarded my my prismatic ending, so these weren't going to be live attackers anyway. So what I could have done is discarded like 3 or 4 and then attack. But then if they drew like an abrupt decay, that could have, or if they like regrew their abrupt decay, they could have killed it, and then I wouldn't be able to kill them. Actually, I wouldn't be able to. Yeah, it would have been really messy. I'm just glad that we were able to do that. I was so freaked out that I wasn't going to be able to get them all out. So I'm glad I got that on tape. I'm glad you got to witness just and I wasn't talking a lot because I was like, I could hear my heart pulsing, like it may sound ridiculous. I go to the gym a lot. I do a lot of very strenuous exercises and stuff like that. And it's rare that my heart rate gets up to where it is right now. I need to get like one of those, like, how some of the speedrunners will have like a pulse meter thing. Yeah, that was, I'm going to go take a little bit of a walk before the next one. That was like a full match. You got your full money's worth on that crazy match. Bob Buttons, we finally beat him. I think I've lost to him at least twice, maybe 3 times against his bug beans deck. And I think we hit on the correct strategy is to stop Beanstalk. Don't worry as much about Frog, especially with this deck because we have lots of answers to Frog. But Beanstalk, you have to stop it or else it's already a 2-for-1 by the time it resolves. Yeah, such a brutal deck. All right, I'll see you in round 3. All right, we're back for round 3. We're 2-0, and we are playing against a player who doesn't have any recent finishes or trophies. So I'm just going to keep this very well-rounded hand. They could be on Omnitel. They could be on Moonstompy. I probably need to start like keeping a Google sheet because I swear I've played against this person once or twice, but I'm always like, I wonder what they're on. They're probably always on Omnitel, right? This hand isn't great against Omnitel, but what I'm coming to respect and appreciate is the sheer power of Tamiyo. She's just like so awesome. And I feel like guilty that I look down upon her like, oh, what? That's like such a weak planeswalker plus ability, totally underestimating its power. Yep. So it looks like they're on Omnitel. Oh no, not this deck. Well, luckily we have our 2 Serenities in the sideboard, which are going to be very good against it. Yeah. So I'm going to assume that our Swords is a dead card. We just drew another dead card. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to curve Tamiyo into Psychic Frog, and I'm going to try to get there. The alternative, of course, is to hit this. Actually, do you think we hit this? I mean, yes, they could have another Soul Land. The alternative is to hit it with, collapsing this could deny them the ability to play out a because this by itself doesn't do anything, but if they're curving into one of their basalt monoliths or grim monoliths, this does stop it. So I'm going to do this. I think this is better than pinning all our hopes on Tamiyo. And if we can stall them out, then maybe Tamiyo can go up. This also means that they may get desperate and crack the Vexing Bauble if they are locked. Okay, this is good. They can go get another Vexing Bauble with this, so they may crack it, and it might give us a window to actually use some of these counters in our hand. So we could, of course, look for a Wasteland, but I'm not as worried about what's going to come out of this because it's probably just going to be another key or another bauble. They've already got their good 1-drops as far as I can tell. So I'm going to get a Tundra here. I've got another fetch to get the other one. And we're just going to deploy Tamiyo. And next turn, we'll deploy Psychic Frog. And the rest of our hand is basically dead. It's Tamiyo and Psychic Frog versus the world. Hopefully they don't have a soul land here to get any value. I would love to not have constructs beating down my Tamiyo. They do have the soul land. Okay. So I think we probably lost. I'm trying to think of circumstances in which we would be able to get out of this, because they're going to be able to create constructs, and actually Prismatic Ending is kind of an answer to this. Okay, hear me out. We Prismatic End. That leaves us with Plow for the potential. If we Prismatic End the Bauble here, they're just going to go get another Bauble though. I think it's better to play out Frog, and then next turn I can, if they don't win immediately, which they very well could, then we can Prismatic End it, because they don't know that we have the Prismatic ending, but we do know that they're going to be able to get something with the Bauble, and I'd hate for them to just get a replacement Bauble and then cast their spells anyway. They will be able to potentially cantrip. They would have to choose between getting a construct and getting a Bauble draw. But they probably, I'm not as worried about their, okay, they're not even making a construct. That's interesting. They didn't even bother tapping they must be very confident in their line. Yeah, there's the monolith. They've got beaucoup de mana. They've got I think 8 mana. So there's 3. Now they're going to get another 3. So that'll go up to 5. And then so I think they get 7 total. What are they going to use that 7 for? Paradox Engine. Okay, so we're dead. Unless they pass the turn, they're not going to. Okay, yeah, they've got infinite mana. They don't have a way to draw through their deck. Also, that did get countered by the Vexing Bauble. If for some reason they crack it because they get sick of losing their baubles and stuff. Let's see what's going to come out of this. Okay. Karn. Now they can go get a win condition. They can lock us. Locking us doesn't necessarily stop us, though. Mystic Forge. Okay. Now they can cycle through their deck. I'm going to just F6. There's nothing we can do. I shouldn't even be waiting. There might be a situation where I need to un-F6 if they're getting a giant walking ballista. Well, giant walking ballista at this point would win anyway. Yeah. Basically, we're just going to see what their deck does a little bit. Make them click through. Make them consider changing decks to a deck that, whenever I play against Nadu, I always make them click through because it's I want to punish you for choosing to play a deck that makes you click through all the time. Or whenever somebody gets me in basically a state of the game where Jace is just going to completely take over. We can't even remove Vexing Bauble anymore. There is no hope. Yeah, but over the past week, I've made 3 or 4 different players Jace ultimate me and then make me draw my entire, hand back into my hand before I hit 0 cards, just as a way to burn up their clock and also potentially punish them for choosing to that playstyle. Because I don't find it very fun. And yes, I could certainly play that way. Yeah, and now they got the One Ring. I think we can scoop here. I'm not going to make them play this out. They're not going to run out of time. Their deck is quite explosive. It's not like the Jace deck or the Nadu deck. They can click quite quickly, and they win very quickly once they have One Ring plus Paradox Engine out. Okay. Consigned to Memories coming in. That much is sure. Force Negation's coming in. We didn't see Glaring Fleshraker, and I'm inclined to not do anything about it. This Lavinia is quite good. It's a one-sided Vexing Bauble. Dress Down is very good against constructs, so that's a lot of cards we're taking out or putting in. Cards that are going out are going to be Plows, Orcish Bowmasters does have some text on it. Baleful Strix does technically trade with like a construct, but I don't know that that's where we want to be. In terms of cards that don't really do anything, Karakas is a card that doesn't necessarily do anything. I don't think they have any legendary creatures in their deck. And I mean, we could get in a situation where like Samwise locking them. I don't like to go down on blue sources, so the only cards left to trim would be like Daze, which is pretty bad. I mean, it is a counter spell, but it's like the weakest possible counter spell against their deck full of soul lands. Baleful Strix is pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. Well, actually, Samwise is pretty bad too. Like we could well, I'm gonna hold out hope that we can Samwise lock them somehow, or at least recur a Wasteland. That might be a good play. I think Baleful Strix is the weakest card here though, so I think we probably take out Strix. Maybe we leave one. Psychic Frog can actually kill them, which is really our only card in our deck that actually kills. Tamiyo can potentially help in a stalled out board state, and I think it's unlikely they're able to remove it. Yeah, so I think this is how I do it. An ideal hand would have a Force and a Serenity, but I would take a hand that has like a Force, a Wasteland, maybe a Psychic Frog. Well, I asked for it, I got it. This is insane. Yeah, we're keeping this, no doubt about that. All right, so what I'm going to do, the trick with Serenity is we need to wait till they commit at least some things to the board. Otherwise, Serenity doesn't do anything. So if they play like they're mulliganing, that's good. 5 cards. All right, so I think we just play a land out. I'm not going to ponder. I'm going to hold it for a Force. We might need 2 forces. So I'll Force pitch ponder. If they play out a Vexing Bauble, I'll just deploy Serenity and blow up the bauble. Hopefully blow up some other artifacts they play out early. Okay. There's our Vexing Bauble. I'm not going to force this. I'm going to rely on Serenity to get that out of the play. Hopefully they play a second artifact out. I'll take key. Okay, I'll take it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just get my Meticulous Archive and take... It's kind of a 2-for-1. It's not really a 2-for-1. Yeah, well, Meticulous Archive here. And... that is going to go on top of the library because we are going to clear this Vexing Bauble here. Unless they combo out next turn. If they combo out next turn, there's nothing I can really do about that. We do have double Force though. So we'll go get our Underground Sea. We'll deploy Serenity. And we will hope that they're not going to be able to play anything out. They can pop Bauble and draw a card, but like if they play anything out, it's going to get wiped. They can't even play out like a Urza Saga if that's what's in their hand. That would be a good card to keep against this deck. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and play this out and we'll pass. I don't think they have anything in their deck that's likely able to interact with this. You can't Pithy Needle it. Yeah, so I think they're just gonna be like, oh, okay, well, whatever. But like, they don't realize how much this is unlocking for me. They've got 4 Baubles in their deck. And Bauble is definitely like a card that I need to stop. But I stand by, and we'll see. We'll see if the correct play was to force the Bauble there instead of rely on Serenity to clean it up. Maybe I hold Serenity for a couple extra turns. But like this deck can kill you so quickly. Okay, Karn, 1 ring. Unfortunately, I can't stop that. But I do have Bowmasters next turn. So we're going to blow up whatever they put out. This mana is going to go away. I would love to draw a Wasteland to get rid of their... so that blows up the Bauble. They didn't draw off the Bauble, importantly. Force negation. Okay, so we've got a lot of ammunition. I'm going to go ahead and wait until their turn when the bubble is over, and I'm going to wait until they activate Ring, and then I'm going to Bowmasters them. And if they do play out a Bauble at this point, I will absolutely counter it, like without hesitation. Okay, so here, I'm going to go ahead and Bowmaster. We're going to start growing our army. 1 ping. And with the Ancient Tomb, they are taking a lot of damage from this. They are going to get 2 cards, and we're going to get 2 pings. And at this point, we can address 2 cards in their hand, and next turn we can address the 3rd. So they've got a lot of mana floating. What are they going to do here? They ring Bauble again. I'll definitely counter the second ring, I think. Paradox Engine is going to get countered here. I will just pitch this Ponder to maximize flexibility for how I deploy these remaining forces. Again, I would love to draw Grim Monolith's okay. They will eventually be able to go get the... they've got 5 more mana. They will eventually be able to go get a key, but I'm hoping to have them dead by then. Because I'm going to hit them for 4, and the ring's going to hit them for 2, and every time they tap, this is going to hit them for 2. So they really, realistically got like 1 turn left. They could use this. They've got 4 mana. I think this is a trap. I'm going to wait. They've got 2 cards in hand, so I don't care if they get more mana. If they tap the ring, okay, so they are going for the mana, and then I'm going to hit whatever comes out of this. 2 cards left in hand, probably a Karn. I don't want them to be able to Karn. Okay, Paradox Engine is definitely getting forced here. And I think we're pitching, because I can hardcast a negation if I draw a land. I think that's the reasoning here. And I think we made it. Like, I don't know how they win with this on the table. With the ring hurting them with the... okay, and we did draw another card. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to hold my force, and I'm going to attack here for 4. Then they're going to take 2, and then they're going to take another 2, and they can't tap their ring anymore. And every turn, they're going to take 2 from their ring. I just have to stop something that can get them out of this. Like a second ring, I would definitely stop that. They're going to have a big construct, but I don't think it's really going to matter that much. That's fine. If this is a creature, I'll be sad because I can't counter creatures here. This is probably a Karn. Okay, yeah, that's fine. You want to go down to 1 life. You can't tap your tomb anymore. And you are very much dead on board. Even if I can't attack for some reason, you are dead due to the ring. Yeah, so Orc was definitely an all-star here. Yeah, I'm going to force that. And that should be game. Okay, cool. So this next one's going to be harder because we're going to be on the draw. I've struggled beating this deck, frankly. Like, Bobble, I still haven't really figured out how to effectively play around it. It's really tricky to know when to force it, when not to. I don't see any changes. Certainly not bringing in days on the draw. That wouldn't make any sense. I think we just ship. Consign to Memory would be a good card to have in hand. Just a 1-for-1. But I think we're really going to need to make sure we have a force in our opener. And we're going to also have to hope they don't have a natural Bobble. This is a really strong hand. Super strong. We have force, blue card. We have Consign to Memory if we get a turn before they start going off. We have Prismatic Ending to end their Bobble. So if they turn 1 Bobble and pass, I'm just going to end it. And then I'll have my forces up. Or my force up. Yeah, I guess technically 2 forces. We'll see what we draw. If we draw another blue card, I'll be sitting pretty. We don't have a way to win yet. So it looks like they mulled to 6, which you love to see. All right, here we go. City of Traders. I don't mind City of Traders as a first land. This is good. They're going all in on something. A Voltaic Key. I think we let them have this, and then we can always end it if we need to. It's a 1 mana end. So they're going to get some more mana back. It'll suck to have to end because I do want to hold up Consign to Memory, but I can't let them just generate mana every turn like this. 4 mana Karn. Mystic Forge. I don't think there's any reason. Yeah, Consign to Memory is strong enough that I don't really want to pitch it. Okay, so what I'm thinking is we have plenty of time, so I'm just going to talk through the logic. So if we pitch Consign to Memory, then we have a naked force that can't be pitched to anything. I don't think they're going to do anything on our turn. So force is absolutely better than negation in most instances. I think it's fine to pitch this, and then we have 4 more forces in 53 cards. So like 1 in 11, basically. 1 in 12. Consign to Memory on its own can stop something. That's my reasoning. So I think they're going to go down to 2 cards. I am kind of thinking like give them the mana and consign it and then remove the problematic permanent with ending the following turn is what I'm kind of thinking. But if we hit the Voltaic Key, they have literally no mana for next turn. And I think we can have a turn where we don't have to deal with... I I think we can have a turn where we don't have to consign anything. Okay. We made it. So Wasteland would be a good draw. Yeah, I think I'm just going to... Now I'm thinking, okay, well, I did draw blue card, so I should have kept Force around. I should have pitched Consign to Memory. We'll see what their follow-up is. But I do want to get this out of play. They may just have another one. They have like 8 in their deck. But I think that this is a worthwhile play to restrict their mana. Because at the very least, they could untap this, even if they don't have anything, and then they would have more mana for later. If they have a land, this city becomes a one-shot. Petal's fine. I love to see Petal because it represents so little mana. Okay, here's some more mana. Don't have it. Don't have something good. Oh, they had the One Ring. Oh, no. Yeah, this is basically the best last card they could have had. And this, I'm totally punished for not keeping the Force there. Because I could have stopped and I could have gotten rid of it. But as is, like, I don't have any way to get rid of the One Ring. I just have to draw a Bowmasters and hope that I can ride it to victory. I think they don't have a way to untap One Ring, but they will almost certainly draw one. But they are constrained on mana. They've got one card. They're going to get 2. If we get a Psychic Frog in, we can start doing some serious damage. Yeah, I don't have any way in my deck to remove One Ring. I can never get a Prismatic Ending that high. Yeah, I think I'm all in on this Frog. And I'm feeling really dumb for that one decision. That one little decision is going to cost me the game. And I feel like I've been in this situation several times before against this deck where I'm like, game 3, and there's almost always a game 3. Because game 2, I almost always am able to execute my denial plan on the play. But for whatever reason, I'll just make a series, like a single bad decision. A single bad decision is all they need. If they get Karn here, they can go get, okay, this is Glaring Fleshraker. No, they got another land. Okay, so they're going really low on lands. But yeah, here's Karn. Karn can potentially go get, I will pitch my entire hand to kill this Karn if they minus. They're plussing. Okay, I'm still going to pitch my entire hand. I'll probably save Consign to Memory. No, do I save Consign to Memory? I'm not going to be able to kill Karn. I can stop Karn from being able to go get Ensnaring Bridge. Okay, so we're definitely not using these cards. I do think if we can if we can find a Bowmasters, it's worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to brainstorm here. We're not going to be using this mana for anything. Okay, we found a Bowmaster. So what I think we do here, we can put this back. Actually, yeah, we're not going to be able to use Consign to Memory this turn cycle. We might be able to use it a future turn cycle. We could use Consign to Memory to stop the draw trigger. On this, we could use Consign to Memory to stop. But we're not going to be able to do that and deploy Bowmasters. And I think we had to deploy Bowmasters this turn cycle. I think it's a mistake not to. So I'm just going to put back this. I think I'm going to put back this. I can technically redraw one of those. Do I want to redraw those? Do I want to try to find a second Bowmasters? Finding a second Bowmasters would be really strong here. Yeah, so I think we just attack with Psychic Frog. We don't pitch anything just to get the card. And then Orcish Bowmasters can do a lot of damage to Karn if they activate. They are going to gain life off this Inventor's Fair. I think we really just need to build a giant Orcish Bowmasters and stop them that way. A giant army. And we need to be ready to remove the... if they are able to get that one thing. So a lot of it will depend on whether they're smart enough to use Karn before we deploy the Bowmaster. Because if they deploy it, they're going to draw 3 cards. We're going to hit him 4 times. He'll go down to 2 loyalty. He'll die. If they try to Mycosynth, that can work. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just fetch here. I'll get another Tundra, I guess. And I could put 2 power on him by pitching this Ponder. I kind of like that. We're going to draw a card anyway. I just want to get him as close to dead as possible. Maybe get him to panic. So we get our card. It's a land. That can be pitched to him next turn. We're never going to need that land. We don't have the ability to play out a land anyway, so we can't keep Consign to Memory live and Bowmasters here. So a lot of this comes down to their sequencing and whether they realize we could have a Bowmaster in hand. But if they Bowmaster here, if they tap this, the Karn is dead before it can use its ability. Okay, there's a Saga trigger. This represents getting a key. Okay, and I think they misplayed here. We're going to be able to kill Karn. Okay. And then... Okay, I'll just manually point these. We got tons of clock. I don't want to screw something up and be like pinging the wrong thing later. Alright, so Karn's dead. That's great news. Bad news is they've got 4 cards in their hand. They've got 2 mana up. They flip a key into play. Yeah, that's what they have. Now they can untap the ring. They can draw more cards if they want, or they can untap mana, which is probably the more conservative play here. Do they have anything else to deploy? 3 mana. They have another key. They have another key. So they can get another Karn out. They're going to have access to 4 mana. Okay, they're passing. They're not going to use that mana to untap their other Grim Monolith. I think that's a mistake. All right. Lavinia is actually pretty damn good here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to deploy Lavinia. Lavinia's down. This does stop them from playing a lot of the cards in their deck that are bigger mana. Now I'm going to attack all. And I am going to discard this land. It's not helping us. So what we can do next turn is we can actually stifle the draw trigger here, but they'll be able to draw a lot of cards. Another Psychic Frog, which we can pitch next turn. They're down to 10. They're dead on board. Creating a construct is not going to save them. I think Consign Memory has to counter some key spell rather than stop a specific trigger. They're going down to 7 here. They're gaining a life. They're very restricted on what they can cast because their entire deck is like non-creature spells. They'll be able to play out a 3rd land, so they can play 3 drops. But they won't be able to play a Karn. I'm still kicking myself about like this Consigned Memory. It's done nothing so far. Okay, there's 3rd land. I think this is fine. They're going to take a bunch of damage. And they can't untap it even if they want to, so we just have to stop 1 card. Yeah, we won. We did it. So we weren't totally punished by that force pitching force play, but I still feel like we got lucky and drew Lavinia. I think Lavinia probably is what sealed it here. They would have been able to generate a bunch of mana and probably find some way to kill us, even with the Bowmaster. But Bowmasters is absolutely clutch in this matchup. I'm so happy to be playing a deck that has 4 Bowmasters in it. We are 3-0. Let's go to round 4. Round 4 against Lord Tywin. I don't believe I played against this person. I think their name is a reference to the Game of Thrones books and the Game of Thrones TV show, which we shall not mention. I did mention it, but should not be mentioned. Yeah, I spelled their name right. No records. All right. That's good news because, I mean, we could have got... Oh, wow, they're a fan. Thanks. I'm glad you're digging these, and I hope you're learning as much as I am. Okay, cool. So this is a solid hand. I mean, we've got a force, like anything. They could be playing anything. This is a good hand against it. I think this is like a great meta hand. Okay, and it looks like they're playing Delver. With Tamiyo. Tamiyo's fine. Got lots of counterplay to Tamiyo. In the deck, I mean, I feel like having 3 Prismatic Endings in your deck just like kind of almost gives you like a free roll against Tamiyo. Maybe I shouldn't feel that way. Rely on lands. They could, just waste us. And I think what we do, I'm not sure how to approach this. I'm pretty sure we do want to get a Surveil land in step though. And then we can reserve the right to go get our basic island and days if they like float a wasteland out there, for example. So that's fine. It won't be able to attack once we deploy our Strix, which I will attempt to deploy next turn. I'll probably attempt to deploy a Samwise. Okay, they got a fetch. I'm definitely getting the vibe that they have days in their deck, but they may not have it in their hand. Okay, Psychic Frog. I think this is a... I think I'm just going to daze this. It's setting us back, but this is a very powerful card. The alternative, of course, is that we just force it, because they're unlikely to have good force targets in their deck. And if that's the case, then we didn't need to fetch here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna force. I think I talked myself into it. I'll force pitching a ponder. We're not gonna have mana for that. Okay, and now we're gonna attempt to deploy the Strix. Unless we draw a fetch land. We didn't. Yeah, these forces are pretty bad. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and just try this, and we can definitely daze to protect, but Strix will be really good against their deck because it stops a lot of stuff. Okay, we get a card. We have another force, so I'm gonna definitely force pitch force something coming down the line, and then I'll daze as well. And I'm just gonna hope that they don't have Wasteland. Wasteland is definitely the scariest card they could have right now. All right, Dragon Rage Channeler. Don't want to force into daze. I'm fine with Dragon Rage Channeler because if they attack with Tamiyo, I can block, and then if they, yeah, that's fine. I'm just worried that they already played their land for turn. They haven't played a land for turn. If they find a Wasteland, I'm worried because they were on the play, right? Yeah, because they opened Tamiyo. Yeah. So yeah, there's the Wasteland. That's precisely what I was worried about, and we don't have a way to get it back with Samwise. They have 3 card types, so they're, yeah, and that sucks. But if we find a land, we're in good state. They can't really attack in profitably. Oh no. Yep. Keeping that ponder around and pitching something else would have definitely been a good call here. We just have to chill until we find a land. That Wasteland was devastating. And if they find a second Wasteland, we're very much in the dumps here. They did. And I can't even, I'll float, I guess. And I will take it. All right. So we might be able to crawl back into this, but it's going to be tough. The good news is they're not able to really advance their game plan other than, bombing ours back into the Stone Age. Okay. I think we just take this. I'm not willing to make that trade. And my reasoning is this prevents Tamiyo from being able to block. This does give them card selection, which might be a mistake. Their dazes are super duper live now. Okay, we got so lucky there. I'm just going to hold this. My reasoning is if we can find a second land, then we can potentially Samwise here. But now that I have this, no, I'm still going to chill. I'm just going to hold. Clue's fine. So they do have an engine, but it's like a stalled out engine. It can go back online as soon as this Baleful Strix leaves play. So we've seen 4 lands of 20. This is a force. Okay, I am going to protect this because it's like the only thing keeping me from death here. They put a Murktide in the yard. They have main deck Pyroblast. What a world we're living in. I need all my colors here. I don't want to go get a basic island, but yep, that is that blows the whole thing open. Okay, they're down to 2 cards, but I mean they're in a dominant position. They've got their card selection, they've got their card draw engine. Yeah, there's no reason why they shouldn't attack with Tamiyo here. They have nothing to fear from us. Eventually we might draw a plow, which will probably be aimed at the DRC. I do still think that the DRC is the main threat. I am going to get card selection here. I'm not going to just chill. I want to increase the likelihood of finding a land. This slightly decreases the likelihood of finding a land. I think black is more important here in case we need a Wasteland because we can at least deploy Bowmasters, but that's pretty weak. Yeah, I don't see a world in which white is the key color here. Oh my goodness, so lucky. All right. So we're going to frog here. And if they daze, they daze. We've given them a lot of terms to have a daze. I guess I've never really put anything out there that could be dazed. I don't think Bowmasters is the play here. My reasoning is that it's just kind of like chills there. It could bait a daze or a force. Yep, there's the daze. There's the card selection. That sucks. There's nothing we can do about that. And if they have another Wasteland, I feel like we've definitely lost. I feel like we're maybe like 20% to win this. But we do have the hope of our days doing something. So this is an example of why you don't play a lot of basics. Like people might be like, oh, if you just fetch basics there, but like look at our hand and like the ability to go get our colors. We've only got two lands, but we've got access to all our colors. Is this a Murktide? No, it's another DRC that I can't stop. That's probably game because they can attack for 6 next turn, and they may have a bolt. Caracas. I'm going to play this out and just see what happens here. Now they know a lot about my deck. If I play Samwise, they'll absolutely know what I'm doing. Okay, they disconnected. I hope they reconnect. This was a fun game. I'm just going to chill until they reconnect. All right, they're back. I'm just going to pass. I mean, they might not realize we're playing Bowmaster and do something that where I can like trigger Bowmaster if they get greedy with the Tamiyo or something. I think most likely they're just going to attack us and we're going to die. Okay, well, just going to flash this in. I'm trying to think about the sequence of draws that could matter here. I'm just going to concede. Like, I don't think there's any reason to show them anymore. Okay, so that was a beating, and it was entirely brought to us by Wastelands. I feel like we could have definitely stabilized if it had been Wasteland, and I think the decision to pitch the Ponder was a mistake. So in this matchup, Hydroblast is very good, and that's about it. Now Spellbomb, you could make an argument for it, but we're kind of pre-boarded for this. Force is really bad in this matchup. They're playing lots of cheap threats that we don't want to go down on cards, so we could bring in I think we'd probably bring this in. We're going to definitely keep our dazes. There are no dead cards in our deck. Even Force is like not totally dead, but I definitely think Hydroblast is better. All right, so we lost a Delver on the play. Not a huge surprise there. We're just going to have to try to like outmaneuver them here. I mean, this is not a bad hand by any means. I think what we do is we just play patient and we start sticking Bowmasters, see what they do. If they open with like a Delver, I will absolutely fire off a Bowmaster. Psychic Frog is good though because it draws removal. Yeah, I like being able to just float an island. That like having one basic is definitely good. I don't recommend ever playing a deck without a basic unless you're playing like just like a total 4-color control mess. Hopefully we get a land. Fetch land would be best. It's fine. They're just timing it around our Bowmasters, which is good because they're playing scared of Bowmasters. So in a way, it is really good that we showed them Bowmasters last game because now they know we have Bowmasters main, so we probably have like, even more post board. All right. That's a good rip. So it is kind of dangerous to just put the Underground Sea out there because like half our hand depends on it. The alternative is we could bait a Wasteland with Tundra, which is our less important color here. I like the ability to Bowmaster them. I think they're... I think I'll just play Tundra here, and I'll play like a coward. We have Brainstorm, and I'm not sure what we would need to do here. We're not going to have to fight anything on the stack. I don't think they're going to have some crazy sideboard card that just completely blows it open. They might have like Counterbalance, which would be kind of scary, but okay. And they're not wasting us here, which is a great sign. I'm not going to do anything if they're not doing anything. I think I am. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to pass. Okay. So hopefully we draw another land. We don't. Strix is immediate value if it resolves. There's a lot of things they could do to counter this. They could red blast it, which is a good call. Yeah, I think we're going to find ourselves in the same situation as last game. If they have another Wasteland, we're just going to be really behind. And I'm going to wish that this was another... okay, good. Counterbalance, definitely something I was worried about. If they don't have 2 drops on top, we're probably okay, but they probably do. I don't think we wait. I think I'm going to jam a Psychic Frog. I think Bowmaster is more important here. We'll find out whether they have a Daze either on top or in hand here. They had their own Psychic Frog. This is just brutal. Like the fact that we like lost the Tundra and can't remove this. They've already gained value off of it. They have Psychic Frog. Okay, they have the land for Psychic Frog, so we're going to be facing Psychic Frog now. Second counterbalance. So they can counterbalance, they can fetch, and then they can get a second look if they need to. Their deck is mostly 1-drops. Oh, I don't feel any hope. Here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that counterbalance, if they don't have a 1, they can go get a 1. Or they can shuffle. They just need to find a single 1. But we can't just chill. If they have a brainstorm, they could fetch, brainstorm, put a 2-drop back on top. They didn't deploy a Psychic Frog last turn. If we do deploy a Psychic Frog, there's a high chance that they... we know they have at least 1 2-drop in hand. We also know that there's a very real risk. Okay, so I think we just need to work through this, is what I think. Maybe they won't get all dramatic and correct their fetch just to stop a ponder. I'm going to start with brainstorm. I'm going to keep my black mana up. And we're going to see what they do about this. Because I would love to find, to be able to shuffle cards away. They're probably going to counter this. Okay, they revealed an Underground Sea, so they're going to fetch, and then they're going to have the second trigger. And if this is not a blue source, I am going to most definitely use the ponder as well, just to get it out of my hand. Okay, we did it. Our wasteland. Okay, great. So we have 2 options. One, we could waste their Underground Sea, which keeps them off Frog. They're going to waste us back, and we're both back where we started. Option 2, knowing that their top card is a wasteland, we could remove one of their counterbalance. I don't think that's a winning play. The other option is we stick the Strix now, and we hope they don't have a daze. Other option is we ponder now, because Strix is a natural answer to Frog. We also have Frog, and we can potentially do 3 for our Prismatic Ending. There's no way we're putting away this Prismatic Ending. It's too good. I do think that Ponder is a liability with the sheer volume of 1-drops in their deck. I don't think wasting is the way to go here. We could waste them off a color, but... All right, let's do this. Let's do this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get a white source. I'm going to see... because I do want the ability... Oh yeah, we have one more. It is very real threat that we could get wasted completely off a color with this deck, by the way. Yep. I think we're like maybe 10% to win this with double counterspell. And if they have a daze, okay, they're letting these resolve. Are they going to daze it? They didn't brainstorm. Okay, it's in. Wow, that's great. We have double wasteland. So we're just going to start wasting them. I'm going to waste I'm going to start most definitely with the Underground Sea just to prevent future frogs. Okay, there's their wasteland. Okay. So what we'll do is the first frog comes down. Oh, they're going to Murktide? That's fine with me. Because then I can waste this and then... Oh, they disconnected again. Okay, hopefully we get to finish this. Because I don't want to win because my opponent just kept disconnecting. That's not a very satisfying way to win. I mean, I'll take the win because I'd love the trophy, but I don't think we're going to trophy. I don't even think we're going to win one of these 2 games. I don't think we're going to win this game and make it to game 3. But I'm going to try. Counterbalance is such a house against our deck because like basically our entire deck is 1s and 2s. And their deck is 1s and 2s. Okay, they seem to be back. So Murktide's coming down, I imagine, unless they're going to play counterbalance number 3, which would be the world record for the most counterbalance played since this divining type has been banned. Okay, they're back. And they have a Murktide, which dies to our Baleful Strix here. So we may be able to strand that Underground Sea in their hand. So here's what I think I'm going to do. Go ahead and kill that. Next turn, we'll start going after the red sources. I don't think we do anything else. If we play a Tamiyo, they'll know that they can never safely attack in a Murktide. Removing one of the counterbalances is inconsequential and not a good use of our Prismatic Ending. The real fear we need to have is that they find a Brainstorm. Brainstorm is really strong here. If we deploy a Tamiyo, I mean, they're not going to attack in anyway. Yeah, we're never going to be able to force a Tamiyo through. I think it's fine to go ahead and deploy her. She's countered. They reveal the Brainstorm, which is very bad news bears for us because they can just Brainstorm whatever value they need on top of their deck. So basically, we should consider at least one of our subsequent spells to be countered by counterbalance. They may proactively use it to try to find a land. This is fine. I will definitely take this trade. But they've already gotten, I think they've countered 2 spells off counterbalance. So they've already gotten like parity. Yeah, and then now they're going to be able to go get the frog going. So what I'll do here, they're going to play a frog. They may not have, I think it's a mistake to let this frog connect. So what I'm going to do, unless I get a black source. Oh. So we have 2 cracks of removing it, but I think it's a higher likelihood that, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take this attempt first. I'm not going to go for 3. If I go for 3, then we almost certainly remove it. They do have a brainstorm and they could find a daze. Huh. I want to be able to kill it and remove the underground sea. That's what I'd like to do. Okay, so here's the first one. We get to see what they have on top. Okay, they had Unholy Heat. Now they can brainstorm to try to find another frog. Okay, and if they... I can't imagine them not finding a 2-drop between dazes and frogs. I think that they have at least 8 in their deck. Okay, and then this will probably counter it with another Psychic Frog. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to plow this. Or waste that. Now, they are going to be able to attack with Psychic Frog and start amassing advantage. But next turn, I am going to be able to brainstorm. And I'm hoping that that gets through. But if they have another brainstorm, that's not going to get through. The good news is they can't deploy their second Psychic Frog without being able to fetch yet another brainstorm or underground sea. But they may be able to do that. All right, so this is our window. Like basically, if this doesn't work, the game's over. Oh, that's great. So we know that they have a Psychic Frog on top. All right, I'm going to go ahead and attempt here to plow. See what they have. Do they have a brainstorm? At the very least, we'll know what's on top so we can see whether we can potentially attempt to resolve a Psychic Frog. They had a Volk on top. All right, we got it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, I think Psychic Frog 100% like the best option here. Note that we don't have any more non-ETB tapped lands. So Psychic Frog is not going to be able to solo my opponent, and they may have a daze in their hand. They have a Pyroblast. Okay, so next turn we are going to hopefully resolve an Orcish Bowmasters, and if they don't draw, what was their top card? Was their top card a Volcanic Island? Yeah, Volcanic Island. So they are going to have plenty of red, but they won't have black to deploy their second frog. So we'll have a very narrow window through which we might be able to get an Orcish Bowmasters out. I mean, it's not going to be pretty, folks. We're like very much on the ropes. Okay. Oh, another Psychic Frog. So the upside of Psychic Frog resolving is higher than Bowmasters. I think I'm going to go for it. And we'll see if this gets countered. Okay. So they got a brainstorm, which means that our next card is probably going to be countered. However, if it doesn't get countered and we're able to surprise them somehow with Orcish Bowmasters, we may be able to get a lot of power on the table. I don't think it's likely they're going to wait around to brainstorm, but they may brainstorm in response to a spell being on the stack to try to get some value by countering one of our subsequent spells. Okay, they disconnected yet again. They apologize for having internet connectivity issues, and we're just going to chill and wait for them to get back and hopefully be able to finish out this match. All right, they are passing priority. We might be able to get an attack with the frog, which would be fantastic. All right, so we know they have brainstorm in hand. Oh, yeah, there's nothing we can do about this. I'm just going to let it happen. I am going to be patient, and I'm going to wait until they put a brainstorm on the stack before I attempt to punish. Yeah, they have lots of removal. Like, frog is kind of actually bad against their deck just because they have so much removal. 3 card types. Yep. So here, there's a very real risk of going after this. I want to kill this, but then they can just brainstorm and reveal a 2-drop. So I think I need to be patient and wait for them to do it. If I draw a second Underground Sea type land, a Psychic Frog, I think we just have to wait and make them think we don't have anything. They are also going to be able to, when they cast spells, see what their top card is. They may try to accelerate toward getting 4 so they can do more damage to us. Tamiyo. I think there's a high likelihood they attempt to brainstorm here. They're playing very patiently and very well. There's no reason they need to do anything here. Yep, I'm just going to take it. There's like zero chance that I'm going to successfully snipe now. Yeah, and this is a really bad situation. I want to get a second land. Plow. So what we could do is we could plow and then we could punish them brainstorming. I don't think that'll work, but because that relies on them having neither a 1 nor a 2 on top of their deck. Also, if they do it now, so I think we wait till their turn. That way they're the active player and we can kill their Tamiyo. The other alternative is to wait for them to proactively brainstorm. If they brainstorm end step, that's great for me. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is very simple. I'm going to wait until their upkeep. I'm going to plow. They're going to brainstorm in response. And I'm going to hope to the heavens that they do not have an answer to... Okay, so let's see what they do here. If they brainstorm in response to save her, they're going to see what their top card is. Ponder. Okay, I'm almost certain we lost here. Now that we know that Ponder's the top card, we could Bowmasters now to force them to use the ability. I don't think that's right, though. I think we just have to wait. So we know that we're going to be able to get this Bowmaster through. I think I'm going to Bowmaster now, and then I'll Bowmaster again later. I know that sounds weak. They may be able to just brainstorm now and counter this. It feels bad, but then they're going to draw. Okay, they disconnected yet again. If we can get to game 3, they're probably not going to have clock to win just because they keep disconnecting. But that's not like I wouldn't be proud to win that way. I don't think we're going to get to game 3. I think Counterbalance is too good against our deck. All right, so that was a total blowout. As predicted, they were able to brainstorm over the top. They filtered away a Ponder. They found something. They flipped Tamiyo. We're dead. They might take a few turns to die. Their top card, though, is Psychic Frog, which means neither of our top... that was during the draw step, though. And that was one of the reasons I did it during the draw step, was so that we would be able to know whether we'd be able to attempt to resolve our spell. So I think their top card is not Psychic Frog anymore, unless they had a second Psychic Frog. Okay. But if they have any spells, okay, and then now they get the black source and they can play a Psychic Frog. They're not going to do that. Okay, so here's what I think we do. We could test the water with a Pyroblast. We probably have to hit one of these. Yeah, I'm going to see what their top card is before I attempt to resolve. I mean, this is such a horrible situation. My goodness. They've counted like 5 cards. Okay, they're shuffling. If they have a Surveillant, okay, they don't have a Surveillant. We're going to see what their top card is. It's unlikely to be a 2. Okay, that's great. It's a Murktide, which is a tomorrow problem. Okay, and now what I think we do with the Murktide coming out, Psychic Frog can jump, but it can't trade. Which of these is more important to resolve? I think it's more important to resolve Psychic Frog. They are going to be able to Murktide, make a big Murktide next turn, but Psychic Frog is not going to do anything to stop that. So I'm gonna go ahead, Bowmasters isn't going to do anything to stop that. So I'm going to go ahead and play this out. Okay, so we get to resolve it. If they have a Red Blast, they could regrow their Red Blast. I didn't think about that. I should have just gotten the Bowmasters. If they're smart, they'll regrow the Red Blast and they'll just blast my Psychic Frog. Because there's no need to ultimate. They're going to kill me much sooner than that. Okay, and they have Unholy Heat. I'm just going to concede. Like there's like 0% chance we're winning. But yeah, they were good games. But I think structurally our deck may have problems with Counterbalance. The other possible consideration is that I just didn't play right. I think there were definitely some windows where I could have been more aggressive with Bowmasters, but I did feel pressure to go ahead and resolve the attempt to resolve the Bowmasters, even though I knew I was inviting a Brainstorm. Just because every turn that passed, they were doing a lot of damage to us. They were getting more potential card selection. It wasn't going to get any better there. It was like a really bad situation, and we just had to kind of stick to our plan. I feel like we should be favored very much in the matchup, but the cards didn't pan out that way, and my decisions didn't pan out that way. If you look at our deck and you look at how it's structured in terms of removal, let's take a look. We have tons of removal. We've got like all these cards are really good against them. We have the 3 Hydroblast that we bring in that are also really strong. But yeah, like almost everything is a one drop or a 2 drop. Okay, that's weird. I'm gonna try to pair again, and yeah, let's see if we can get our final match in. I would love to get a 4-1. I'm gonna play as hard as I can, even though the trophy is dead. Delver, the killer of many trophy runs. Sometimes you just get Delvered. I don't think they had a particularly aggressive Delver strategy. They may not have even been playing Delver itself. They may have been playing 4 Tamiyos. I'm going to see if I can figure out which list they're playing. And I might play that on the channel because I've been wanting to play a Delver list with Tamiyo instead of Delver. Like basically, I just want to play lists that have Tamiyo in the list. I think Tamiyo is really strong right now. If you haven't heard me say that like 4 times in this video. All right, we're back for the final round. I have absolutely no idea what my opponent's playing. They've kept 7. This is a Force of Will hand. It does not have a second land. However, we do have the ability to Island Ponder. We have lots of good interactive cards. I think we keep it. Okay, looks like we're up against Burn. I don't think we have a very good Burn matchup. I haven't played against Burn on MTGO ever, I don't think. If they are Burn, I mean, they open Chain Lightning, Mountain Chain Lightning, which makes me think they're Burn. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fetch. I'm not going to worry about what is our best strategy. Our best strategy is to get a Psychic Frog in play for sure. That is the way that we kill them the fastest. A lot of these cards in our hand don't do anything. Tamiyo does potentially bait a removal spell, but that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and get a Underground Sea, and I'm going to ponder, and I definitely want to see if I can line up my, there we go. This is perfectly good. So what I can do is, next turn, I could have drawn the ponder there just so I'd be able to pitch a second ponder into Force in case they have 2 forcible spells this turn. I'm only going to play 2 lands so that I can minimize the damage of Price of Progress. I'll just take this. Cards we're looking to stop would be creatures. Creatures are much more important to stop. We're already at 13. We're going to go to 12 here, but we are going to go ahead and get a... What do we want to get? We get a Bowmasters down. Not like a super strong play. Bowmasters does do damage. It does block. We get Baleful Strix out. It draws us a card. It potentially trades with one of their attackers. I think Baleful Strix is better here. So I'm going to do that. All right. So each of these forces hurts us. Not a great situation to be in. Baleful Strix will probably just hang back because a lot of their creatures have haste, and doing that 1 damage probably won't make all the difference. Well, they have black, so they could have like Bump in the Night. They could have... I'm not sure. I hope they're not Pure Burn. If they're Pure Burn, we're kind of screwed here. Interesting. So I'm trying to think of what black spells. They might have their own Orcish Bowmasters. Well, we have to play something. I'm going to play out this Tamiyo. She'll hang back. She can block an attacker, and I am going to attack in for 1. If they Bowmasters, I will force it in a heartbeat. I think we force this because it deals 3 damage and it stops and it gets rid of our creature. And I think we pitch a Ponder to do this. It's worth noting that we do have Plow, which can gain life in an extremely desperate situation. We could also end step Brainstorm just to try to like move some cards around and try to find a path to survival. I don't think they're playing Bowmasters, but they might be. I'm going to go ahead and do it. That means I don't get the Tamiyo bonus. Drawing like my entire deck would be a way to survive here. Maybe I should have done this last turn, but they can bolt in response. Yeah, I don't think we brainstorm here. I think we just play a little bit more patiently than that. Maybe that's a mistake. I would love for them to instep, try to get rid of her. Okay. That is not unwelcome. I'm going to attack with both. Just create the clue. That clue might do something this game. Okay, I think plussing her is good because that reduces the ability of opponents to deal damage to us. All right, we have the ability to go get a land here. We also have the ability to shuffle away redundant Tamiyo and redundant land. So I'm going to do like that. She flips. I'm going to plus her. If they don't do anything in step, I can also draw a land, which is probably better than surveilling. So I'll get an island with this one. We have all our colors. There's no reason to subject ourselves to risk of bigger. Man, they don't seem to have anything going on, which is great news for us. I'm surprised they're not casting anything. They could be completely flooded, maybe. So we're going to 10. All right, and we're drawing. Another brainstorm, which will most likely just be pitched to force. I'm going to go ahead and plus this. I think since we're plussing it, we can go ahead and attack for 1. It's very puny, but it's better than nothing. And then end step, we do have the ability to put in a Bowmasters. Okay, they're just like, it looks like they're F6ing through my turn and not spending any of their mana. I wonder what the heck they could have in their hand. This is more lands than I'm used to seeing in a burn deck. This is aimed at me. I'm going to let this resolve. Okay. I think I am going to go ahead and deploy this just to have some pressure on the board. It's not a lot. Psychic Frog is what we've been waiting for. I'm going to plus here first. I'm going to start by attacking. So Psychic Frog with Tamiyo, we can win next turn if they don't kill us. We've got double force to protect our win. All right, let's see what they've got. We've got Plow. We can discard a bunch of cards to Psychic Frog and plow it if we absolutely need to. That would be really desperate. Okay, they're not doing anything here. Interesting. I have absolutely no idea why they're playing the way they are. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start by -7ing and drawing my deck. I think we can let this resolve. I'm worried that they might have something even more powerful in hand. Yeah, and the extra damage doesn't matter to me. Okay, so now we draw. Do they have Fire Blast? I can force a Fire Blast and I can plow something to survive. Okay, they scooped. Wow, I did not expect to be burned. I didn't expect a face burn. Let's go to the next one. The good news is that we do have lots of counterplay against burn. We have these Hydroblasts, which are quite good. I still don't know what else is in their deck. Lavinia can shut down some burn cards, like if they have the Miracle Burn card, or if they have Fire Blast. They're never going to be able to cast a Fire Blast with Lavinia out. She can also draw fire, like the creatures draw fire. Samwise feels pretty bad. I didn't see a single non-basic. I think I'm going to take out a Wasteland. In terms of other cards, we can take out... Tamiyo is a bad card against this matchup. Like, there's no universe in which she's good. Prismatic Ending can remove, like, if they put, like, I don't know, Ankh of Mishra, whatever burn decks are playing in 2024. I kind of like bringing in Force of Negation just because we can hardcast it if we need to, and it doesn't do damage to us like Force of Will does. Daze gets pretty bad pretty quickly, and I don't like the negative tempo, and we're on the draw. I mean, Orcish Bowmasters is just straight up like bad against them. I don't think they have any 1 toughness creatures to kill. Strix is not the worst because it does, potentially trade with their things and draws a card. I think we just saw that Tamiyo actually can help in this matchup, surprisingly. So I think we leave her. And it's extra blue cards we can pitch if we need to. Yeah, let's do it. All right, we're back with another Strix Tamiyo hand. I'm not inclined to throw this away because the main way these decks get you is actually with creatures, and Baleful Strix can slow that. Okay, so I'm going to keep this. Also, I want to keep as many cards as I can. I'm not wild about this Meticulous Archive. Actually, it doesn't matter. We'll get some selection. If I can find a Pyroblast, that's great. Or a Hydroblast, rather. I have way too many lands in hand, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this out. I should have played out, well, I don't think we need yet another one of those. Yeah. And what I'm going to hope to do is brainstorm, fetch away excess lands. They're not doing anything. Oh my goodness, did they keep a one-lander? This is like, I think if they were on like a normal burn deck, we would be totally screwed here. But because they're not, they're on some other kind of deck, I think we actually, yeah. So I'm going to keep up the forward momentum here. I'm just going to go fetch a blue-black land, and we're going to deploy Strix. Trying to think of what the black is for, other than like color screwing yourself. Yeah, Wovoka, if you're watching this, I humbly recommend that you play the mono red version of Burn. It's a pretty good deck. It has like a 40% win rate or something. It's not a great win rate, but it's like way more consistent than playing, frankly, kind of janky cards like whatever this is. Vraska's Contempt. Exile target creature or planeswalker, you gain 2 life. Okay, well, I haven't ever seen that card before. That seems like a limited card, not a legacy card. So no offense to you, sir, but if you're a male, but I definitely recommend playing different cards. Okay, so here what we can do. I think we start with the brainstorm. I'm going to brainstorm back my island. I am going to assume that they are still, this goes back, this goes back. I'd like to put, yeah, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to fetch the island. And that way it's just, I'm just respecting price of progress, and then I'm hoping to like discard the remainder of these cards to like a Psychic Frog. Okay. Yeah, we're oops, all Baleful Strix is here. Next turn we can play out a Lavinia. And we can play out a Tamiyo. We could even, no, we can't flip Tamiyo next turn unless we play out a 4th land. I mean, maybe we do. Because they're the red source now. So now we're going to start feeling heat. With all the swamps, they may not even be playing Fire Blast. So Lavinia may not actually be good. It's worth noting that Lavinia does shut off Rift Bolt. So I think what I'm going to do here is I can flip Tamiyo. And I think it's worth doing that. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and attack first. See how they react. Okay, and now what I can do is I can play this out, and I'm going to play this out instead of, now I'll play this out, and I'll play this out, blue, black. This is going to give us our second draw of the turn, and then I can ponder for the third draw, and I think that's fine, even though we just did drew Hydroblast. I can always pitch Lavinia and keep the Hydroblast up. I do want to keep the Hydroblast. I do have a shuffle next turn. I could shuffle and not get a land just to reduce potential price of progress damage. I mean, Hydroblast is so good. I can't put it away. I need to get it. All right. So we're going to flip our Tamiyo. And now I believe that the game is very much just about like riding Tamiyo to victory, assuming they don't have a way to remove her, drawing half our deck. They have presented very little damage to us this turn. This game. We have tons of blockers out in case they're going to take like, Goblin Guide, the prowess creatures that they often play, that kind of an angle. This is, I mean, like, yeah, you should just play a Surveil land. Okay, so to the audience, I apologize that we're playing like, okay, are they making me draw cards? Or are they drawing? They're drawing themselves. That's fine. Yeah, I know this isn't like a super... I'm going to try to take this match seriously, even though my opponent is playing kind of limited style cards. Right? So they're discarding to hand size. Discarding a Delirium. Cast a spell only during an opponent's turn. Tap target creature that player controls, that creature deals damage equal to its power to the player. Prevent all combat damage. Okay, so basically a terrible card. Like, I can't imagine a situation, like, unless I mean, actually, if I had a lethal frog out, you could kill me with this maybe, but your life is actually lower than mine, so my frog would never get that high in power. Okay, so I'm going to plus this. I think we can go ahead and attack here. I don't think they're going to even play anything worth... Like, if they play a creature, I can just plow it, so I'll just do some damage here, and I'll wait. And no reason to play anything else out. I got Lavinia. I've got 2 Hydroblasts. What I'm thinking is we ultimate Tamiyo in 2 turns, and then we play out a Psychic Frog, and we finish them off. Playing out a Lavinia could actually hasten the clock. We do 5, so that would actually kill faster. Well, it wouldn't kill faster, but if they do any damage to themselves at all, like another Sign of Blood or something, that could end the game faster. All right, this is a card that stops us from gaining life, but I don't think it's good enough. I'm just going to let it resolve. I don't want to get caught with like some really powerful spell on this deck that I mean, taking 1 damage a turn doesn't matter. Since I have 2 Hydroblasts, I'm not even worried really about forcing stuff. And this is actually going to do damage to them, and that means they're going to be dead in 2 turns if I deploy Lavinia. Well, actually 3 turns, because I'll have to attack with Lavinia successfully. So had I deployed Lavinia last turn, they would be dead here. Okay, another Tamiyo. Get a plus here. I am just going to play this out, and I'm going to attack. Did I not choose white? Okay, I didn't choose white. Lavinia's out. This does shut off our Force of Will, but I don't think it matters. I can always blast it and then force something if I need to. Okay, they are interacting somehow. They're attempting to smash to smithereens. I think I'm just going to blast this just because it represents damage to me, and it also slows my attack. I only have 4 artifacts in my entire deck, so, you know, and they're like only incidentally artifacts, but they are actually artifacts. So that is like a small point of vulnerability in my deck. So they're taking 1 here. They're dropping to 7. They have to kill me. Basically, they have 2 turns to kill me. That's fine. I'm not going to fight over Tamiyo because I've got the lethal on the table. If they're throwing burn at Tamiyo, that's great for me. I'll take 1. Since I'm not going to win with Tamiyo Ultimate, I think it's actually better to just regrow my Hydroblast just to ensure that they can't do anything that I don't anticipate. So this is tap target creature. That player deals damage equal to his power to the player. Prevent all combat damage. So they're doing this to prevent damage to themselves. I don't think that matters. I'll take 2 from it. So they're still taking 3 and they're still dead next turn. Delirium. Such a cool word. I wish the card itself was more powerful. All right, and we got our walls up. I'm not even going to play a land. I'll just discard. So they're going to 3. At this point, we could probably just stop attacking them and just wait, and they would die. But I'm not one of those, you know, person who wants to like style on somebody. What's the term? Like stunt on somebody. I just want this game to be over so I can get to the post-game deck tech. And we can talk about our loss to Delver. Okay, so we 4-1'd. The Delver matchup was definitely the hardest. And I don't think it should be hard. I think it should be relatively straightforward. The issue is that they had counterbalance and we weren't able to address it. So here's the mana base. This never came up where we got completely wasted off of white or off of black. But if we get wasted off of black, the only win cons we have in our deck are the 3 Samwise. If we get wasted off white, which is slightly harder to happen because we do have a Caracas as a 4th white source, then we just have the Orcish Spellmasters. We don't have any cards that can be cast for just blue, and that is an argument for putting a Murktide into the deck. So, historically, people have put a Murktide in the deck. I like the mana base as is. I don't think we changed the mana base. But I mean, you could argue that like adding a 4th Underground Sea might be good, or a 3rd Underground Sea. The reasoning being that it is like you're really in a tough spot if they waste all 3 of your underground seas. So if like hypothetically we took out this sanctuary and we put in an extra underground sea, that would increase the likelihood of us being able to deploy our threats like around, like it doesn't change the number of initial blue sources we have in our deck. The other, I really like having the fetches though, because the fetches interact positively with Samwise, and they also, like a lot of times you really do want to be able to fetch your white source. So I'll tell you, like, I'm just acknowledging that is a weakness of the deck, but I don't think we should actually do anything about it. I like having 9 fetches. 9 fetches, 6 fetchables. It is a little bit light. The other thing we could do, of course, is take Karakas out and change it for something else. There was never a situation where we were able to use Karakas to like bounce Samwise back to hand, but that does come up over enough matches. It is a non-white card. It is a non-blue mana, which, as I've expressed repeatedly, like you want all your blue mana. So let's say hypothetically we took this out. First of all, it's sacrilege to take it out when we have all these legendary permanents we could control. But let's say hypothetically we took it out. Then we could get another underground sea in, and we could still have 9 fetches. And then as far as bringing in Murktide, that is definitely an option. Like previous iterations of this list have had 2 Murktide. I feel like Murktide would be really good against Delver, but would it be really? Because they're just going to Pyroblast it. Just going to bounce it with, like right now, the only card that they can profitably Pyroblast after it's already resolved is really Mystic Psychic Frog. We can potentially defend a Tamiyo with a Brainstorm or triggering enough draws off clues. I think 3 Samwise is the right number. I did experiment with Felia in this deck, and I didn't feel that she was strong enough. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really have any changes to make. I loved having all 3 Hydroblast. That came up at least 2 of the rounds, maybe 3, that we had Hydroblast, and that was good because we could take out our forces and replace them with more flexible removal here in Hydroblast. I like the 2 Serenities. You can see that they were very helpful in that one game against KarnForge and Consign to Memory. I think 3 is the right number. We never brought in Containment Priest. We never brought in... Did we bring in Nailspell? I don't even think we brought it in against Delver. Yeah, I don't know what changes to make to the deck. I guess it felt really tight. I think I just made misplays during my match against Delver, and I think that their card, whatever it's called, Counterbalance, I think that was incredibly strong against us. Should we ourselves be playing Counterbalance? I don't think so. I think it's really good when you have a card like Dragon Rage Chandler, when you have Baubles and things like that. I don't think they were playing Baubles. They might have been playing Baubles. I can't remember. Oh, yeah, I think that I did see them get a Bauble into play. But yeah, I mean, you can see the appeal of having exile-based removal when you got all these frogs going around. So I think I'm just going to run this back and probably play another league with it like this. I definitely feel weird not having a way to immediately win. Like that game against Bob Buttons where we won with 7 seconds on the clock. Had we had our own Murktide, maybe we could have just boop, surprise, we won. But anyway, it's hard to complain. I love the deck. It's fun to play. If you have the cards, I encourage you to try it out. In paper is especially fun because you get to track the ring and move it around. It's just so fun to play in paper, but it's fun to play here. It doesn't have as many triggers to click on as Esper. So this is I consider this to kind of be like the little brother of Esper, if you will. And I do have a video of Esper, and I am going to play another Esper league on here. I'm really happy with Esper. It's just been really performing for me. And this list, I think this is the exact list that I think I got a 4-1 and then I got a 2-3. But fewer wastelands, less tempo, and really just using wastelands to stop a few key spells. But you can see that this does have Samwise. This does have Bowmasters. It has Baleful Strix. It has Psychic Frogs. But you see all those cards slightly less because you're playing 80 cards. But then you have the ability to play more basics because your mana base is not as cramped. So I'm actually playing 4 basics here in this list. And I can go and get Lauren... with Recruiter of the Guard, you can get these silver bullet creatures. You can get Harbinger of the Seas, which is really good against Eldrazi and 12 post. You can get a Fairy Macabre, which is really good against Rescam. If the game somehow goes that late, you're just like, okay, I got Fairy Macabre in my hand. What are you going to do about it? Like for the rest of the game, your next reanimation spell is countered, and you can't even counter Fairy Macabre because it's an activated ability. So yeah, I'm definitely going to play this type of deck. I think Esper as a combination is really strong. The biggest weakness of Esper, and we saw it on display, of any 3-color deck right now, is the preponderance of Wasteland. Let's go to, real quick, MTG top 8 for Legacy, and you can see that there's like this nice display. 61% of decks are playing Wasteland. And of course, pretty much every deck you're going to see me play on the channel has Wastelands in it too. And most of them are playing like 3.5, 4. We're playing 3.5. Here, let's we can click more information. But it's heartening to see that Grief is not like one of the top cards played. Oh yeah, it is. It's like number 20. But everybody's playing blue-black. But you can see Ancient Tomb creeping in here. You can see Swords of Plowshares represented in the top 20. And Vexing Bauble, which I think, even though Vexing Bauble does enable some degenerate things, I was worried about it a little bit, but like there are a lot of ways to remove it, especially if you're playing like Prismatic Ending. If you're, so I'm not too worried about it. And even some tricks you can do with like Stifle. And I think I did a Consign to Memory, and I like stopped like some trigger ability. It was really cool. I can't remember exactly when I did that. Anyway, I'm just rambling. I love to talk. If you haven't noticed, one of my friends was like, yeah, I love putting your videos on when I'm on the road, when I'm like driving my truck, because you say literally everything. Like there are lots of great players who you watch them and they don't really talk that much, like Reed Duke. He doesn't really talk as much and outline his thinking. Occasionally he'll have insights and stuff, but like I err on the side of saying literally everything that enters in my mind, calling out every single play that my opponents do. I'm actually kind of trying to go for that almost sports announcer type thing where you could, in theory, like just listen and understand what was happening in the game. And I might try to do more of that. If you'd like me to do more of that, definitely leave a comment below. If you have other feedback for how I can make these videos more interesting. Like for me, like I watch so much Legacy content on YouTube. Like I watch everything on double speed, like just take a bath, relax, and watch like somebody play a league. And I watch a lot of the smaller creators too. And it's just so fun for me to like see what decisions they're making. And kind of like what I do is I'll often pause it and say, okay, what would I do here? And then I'll unpause it and I'll see what they did. And then we'll see how it plays out. Right. And like, oh, okay, I'm kind of vindicated because they attempted to do that. Like I'm kind of vindicated because they played out Orcish Bowmasters. Well, their opponent had two counterbalance in play and a known brainstorm in hand. And of course they brainstormed and they found a way to stop their Orcish Bowmasters. And of course they were punished for doing that. Right. Like, yeah, that was kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't moment. But like, I still think that like a pro player might have been able to figure a way out of that. So until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.